You first have to get rid of incentives that incentivize like women to leave families. Yep. So
no alimony, no child support.
You know, for example, child support, alimony. I'm not really a fan of those. I think we should ban divorce too. Yeah, I think that should be banned.
She has no idea. She wants to abolish divorce, which is an incredibly radical position, but she doesn't have any idea how any part of the legal system works. I've spent all of 90 minutes researching divorce, okay? And I know the answers to all of these questions. She's supposedly doing a document. The reason why irreconcilable divorce is what's written on a lot of things is because when you go to court and you file for divorce,
family court is based off of a balance of probability. So it means it's more like—
The balance of probabilities is based on evidence. Ethan, can I call in?
People change, right? Especially when people get married young.
Ethan's not prepared enough on the legal arguments.
People go through shit. People grow apart. A lot of the men who end up being abusive you hear were one way.
I wish Ethan knew that phrase. All of Pearl's arguments rest on her not understanding what a preponderance of evidence is. Like, every single argument Pearl is making is her misunderstanding.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Nice job, Ethan. I'm worried that Ethan might be the only person in the world that can lose a debate to Pearl. Oh, man.
I know you're in the UK, so I thank you for making the time and coming out here at a weird hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I used to...
be a big fan of you.
I used to watch you, like, last year, actually, a good amount.
Before you became SJWs.
Like a year or two ago, maybe.
What is? Oh, like as a fan or as like a hate watch?
No, I don't know if it's like awkward to talk about like Trisha, but I used to watch like the show you guys did together.
Oh yeah.
Really frenemies.
No, you can. Well, thank you. That's nice to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it like didn't work out, but I actually thought that was really good content.
Aw.
Like you guys did the like the bus tour. I thought that was so funny.
Oh,
there's so much drama revolving around Trisha and that Fred that I don't know anything about in like their universe.
At least you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it was her segment. Is that what happened?
Well, I don't know if it's so long ago. It's ancient history. But I remember she was upset that it didn't go the way that she was hoping that.
Oh, she thought we shot it unprofessionally.
Yeah, but Pearl liked it, so there you go.
Yeah,
Pearl, yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I guess let's just jump right into it. I don't know how many of my audience, I'm sure a lot do, but I kind of want to just introduce you. You've become really successful the past year or two. Kind of, you're friends with Fresh and Fit, right? Those guys are your dogs, so to speak. And you kind of are sympathetic to their kind of views. But you've made a name for yourself just on TikTok and on YouTube. So let me just ask you generally, like, what kind of messages are you sharing on your platform? What kind of important messages is it that you find yourself are about?
I believe in family, so I think that we should have policies that push family. I think that feminism overall was a bad thing. I think that we should be... I think women are happier when we have, a family and kids over a career in the long run. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
It's okay. I understand. So it's more like traditional. You want people to kind of follow a more traditional path.
Meltdown.
In terms of family and gender and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, and you just see the negative outcomes a society has when families fall apart, right? And it's especially hard on the children. Like you see, the kids are more likely to go to prison. They're more likely to drop out of school. They're more likely to, be in mental health institutions. So you just see all of the problems that come with, single mother homes. So I just think it's important that we push policies that push family.
So how do you push a policy that promotes family? Like, in what way can you force a family to stay together?
Make divorce illegal. Oh my God, say it, Pearl.
Well, I think you first have to get rid of incentives that incentivize women to leave families.
Yep.
So
no alimony, no child support.
For example, child support, alimony. I'm not really a fan of those.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, okay? I also pre-watch the future. I watch the future as well. I do believe in astrology. I do believe in tree leaves, and I can read the future. I do. Even on live content, I pre-watch it. I don't know how I do it. I'm just...
Child support. So if there's a divorce, let's say
actually, I think we should ban divorce too. Yeah, I think that should be banned. Yes.
Okay. Well,
How does he do it?
You have to acknowledge that, right?
No.
So banning divorce means that when you decide to get married, you are not allowed by the government to leave your significant other in any situation.
My third eye is open.
I just think that if you want to leave, you just shouldn't get married. So that's just my opinion.
How
But, like,
ingenious.
in the real world, that kind of simplistic.
And you know, there's like exceptions to this, but I would just say in general, for most cases, you know, we could talk about exceptions, but like the rule.
Well, the exceptions are the important part, because I've heard you say that a lot when you're talking about things. You say, oh, you want to talk about exceptions, but the exceptions is the important part, because those are the people that are going to be affected. I mean, exceptions are going to be a large part of divorces, as you say. I mean, you're talking about like, you know, 25% maybe or more, because if you're saying you're not allowed to get divorced, so we're talking about like, what if the relationship is physically abusive?
Yeah, I think if it's physically, this is the problem though. All right, if it's one-sided physically abusive, okay, fine, divorce. We can allow divorce for those exceptions, but like I've even talked to people that work at like abuse centers, and they say that the majority of abuse is mutual. So it's not just one side's hitting.
What? It's so easy. It is so easy to just say, yeah, in physically abusive relationships, people should split. Why would you even try to quantify or qualify or provide an exception? Like, well, in some relationships, people are beating the shit out of each other, right? It's just that's such an easy position to be like, yeah, just bite that bullet. Yeah, it's so stupid.
The other, it's like mutual. So
surely that's not every time.
I think, yeah, no,
but it's not healthier either.
I just think that the goal should be to keep families together, and that the goal should be to work through it.
I think most people agree with that, right? Because I think we all can look at the stats and say family is important, right? Family is important. Nuclear families is important to like the health of children growing up in general. I think we can all say that. But when you say something like divorce should be illegal,
yeah,
we got to kind of suss that out, because that's a pretty extreme claim. For example, in 2014, family violence was the cause of 25% of divorces. So I don't think it's fair to characterize that as some kind of like.
What if they were both being abusive?
Well, but you also have to look at, there's incentive structures in place where there's a lot of false accusations in family court. And a lot of people don't know this, that family court is actually based off, it's not based off of evidence, it's based off a balance of probabilities. And there are incentive programs that you get, like in the UK, you get a free lawyer if you accuse your husband of abuse. And it's less than 10% of cases are actually like followed through with the police.
Okay, hold on. She doesn't know anything about anything that she's talking about. Sorry. When she says on the balance of probabilities, not on evidence, that doesn't make any sense. Generally speaking, from what I'm aware of, there might be more. Generally speaking, there's like two ways you can prove something in court. It can either be on a preponderance of evidence, meaning over 50%, right? So like in civil court, this is how we would go. You need an over 50%. That's what the case that Trump lost on rape. It was over 50%, okay? Or beyond a shadow of a doubt, which is like 99%, okay? No reasonable person can have a doubt here about a particular thing. For family courts, it's based on a preponderance of evidence. It's based on that 50%, that 51% standard. That doesn't mean no evidence. That doesn't mean somebody just makes a claim and it's believed. That's not how that works. Those probabilities, the balance of probabilities that she's talking about here, the probabilities come from evidence provided in court.
Sorry, I don't want to move on quite yet. I want to stick on the topic of not allowing people to divorce. So you're saying that you do want to allow people to divorce, then you don't really believe that?
No, I would say ban divorce.
Okay, because you just said you would allow an exception in the case of abuse.
I said one-sided abuse exception, sure.
Okay, so how do you prove the one? So then you don't believe in forced divorce? Or ban divorce.
Fine. Ban divorce except for one-sided abuse.
Okay, sure. Except for one-sided abuse. And is there going to be a system to kind of how do you prove that the woman or man?
There's no way you can enforce this.
You have to press charges in criminal court, not family court.
So only if your significant other is tried criminally are you.
But you don't press an individual. Doesn't bring criminal charges to somebody. It would be reported to police and then the DA would do it. She's doing a whole documentary on this. Why doesn't she know any part of the legal system works? She has no idea. She wants to abolish divorce, which is an incredibly radical position, but she doesn't have any idea how any part of the legal system works. I can't as an individual go and bring criminal charges to somebody. Like,
allowed to leave the relationship. Tried and found guilty criminally.
Yes. Otherwise, just stick out of, which is fine if you don't, want to be with someone forever. But I just say stay out of marriage. Because when marriage is supposed to be, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, and for richer or for poorer. It's not supposed to be, when I feel like leaving. And the majority of divorces nowadays, it's just, when the girl just feels like leaving.
That's not true.
Any evidence of that?
Well,
it's just not true.
I've talked to hundreds of women.
Oh, dude, I'm so glad that her channel is nowhere near as popular. People think her channel is so popular, and it's not. They gamed the shorts algorithm. She got a ton of subs on that. She gets very low. She gets less engagement than me on her long form content. People think her channel's more popular than it is. Don't be too depressed, okay? This channel will not be around for as long as people think it is. God, her takes are so unimaginably uninformed on everything she talks about.
That doesn't prove anything.
And even if you look at when No Fault Divorce was initiated in the 1970, I think it was initiated. I mean, one of the number one reasons was financial differences and irreconcilable.
I've spent all of 90 minutes researching divorce, okay? And I know the answers to all of these questions. She's supposedly doing a documentary. The reason why irreconcilable divorce is what's written on a lot of things is because when you go to court and you file for divorce, you have to give a reason. And that's just the default reason you give. Oh, irreconcilable differences. Oh, okay. That doesn't mean that there wasn't a good reason for divorce. It doesn't mean that maybe infidelity or some other thing wasn't involved or some huge disagreement. That's just the thing that you write on the paperwork to have the divorce. Irreconcilable differences. What?
Why do you know so much about divorce?
Because I'm getting ready for our case, Mel.
What the Mel?
But it's like, wait, she hasn't spent like even 2 seconds reading anything about this, and she wants to abolish divorce.
And reconcile.
Sorry, good talk. But yeah, I just think like, for the people that don't believe in real marriage, because what is marriage if you can get divorced over damn near anything? It's not marriage anymore. It's something else.
Well, I think the reason for that, historically, this emphasis on staying married, right? Or even before this no-fault divorce was an option, and it was more difficult for women to get divorced, or men, the abuse of power and the risk for abuse and for people to get stuck in a horrible relationship situation, not just for them, but their kids, right? I mean, obviously, having your kids watch their mother get beat up. And oftentimes it's going to believe...
Or the kids get watching their father get beat up. Like, it goes both ways.
She's such a pick-me.
I acknowledge that. It goes both ways. So both people have a right to, in my opinion, get divorced, because the alternative is one of the partners being stuck and like...
Do you think that's the majority? Do you think that's the majority of cases?
A majority of cases of what? Divorce?
Of divorce.
25%. 25.
What?
It's 25% based on statistics.
No, but that's not what's in criminal court. It's like less than 10%. Actually.
In criminal court? What? I thought we're talking family law. What does she mean in criminal court?
Followed through in criminal court.
Well, regardless, 10%'s enough, don't you think?
No, I said less than 10% of the abuse cases of the 25%. So that's like...
Less than 10% of the abuse cases of the 20... Is she talking about how many accusations wind up in convictions?
Journal of Family Violence in 2014 found that approximately 25% of divorces in the United States involve domestic violence.
Right, but again, that's because the woman says that she was, because they're incentive.
Okay, but you're just saying stuff. You're just saying stuff. You don't actually know that to be true.
No, I do.
How?
I do. Like, okay, in the UK, there's a law that you get a free lawyer if
How does that prove that women are lying about violence?
No, because I'm saying that you can't prove it unless they go to criminal court, because criminal court is based off of evidence, where family court is based off of a balance of probability. So it means it's more like...
The balance of probabilities is based on evidence. Ethan, can I call in? What do you think the balance of probabilities... Do you think if you go to civil court in the United States, it's not based off of beyond a shadow of a doubt. All you have to do is make an accusation, you automatically win the case? What does she think the balance of probabilities is? What does she think the words means? The balance of probabilities. Where do the probabilities come from? Is it the probability that the judge just likes the way you look that day? What is she...
That they did it then didn't do it. It's not innocent until proven guilty.
Right, but they're not...
It is innocent until proven guilty, but it's not a crime. It's not a criminal thing. Well, it's not innocent until proven guilty. I don't even know if that makes sense in civil court. But you're still presumed innocent until the other person wins the case.
Going to jail. It's just to let the abused
I mean, you could call it jail when you have a lifetime of not seeing your children.
Oh my God. Okay. It's all right. She's never gonna let me back on her show again. I already know it. I need to do one more red pill show on like divorce. Maybe I should do Rolo in Vegas while I'm down there, because I'm gonna be in Vegas for another show anyway, and just let's have the divorce conversation, because I need to put this shit needs to go to bed once and for all. There is so much stupid shit that people say about this without even having any idea. Like, they don't know, like, I'm not even saying you have to be like a lawyer, but just like the basic shit of like what the legal system is, or like how it works, or what's going on.
You could, but it's not.
I mean, you could. I mean, have you spoken to these men? It's like literally their whole community thinks they're an abuser. Now they get to see their kids maybe 3 days a month if they're lucky. A lot of them are
sure,
a lot of them
course.
are put on.
Yeah,
right?
there's bad outcomes for sure, but on the whole,
a lot of men zero themselves out during this.
They what?
Like a lot of men commit suicide during
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Horrible, you know.
A lot. It's horrible. It's
what
like
does a lot
terrible.
mean?
Like,
Make her quantify that, Ethan. What is a lot?
I'm sure that's happened, but at the same time, you're saying women are lying about violence, and I haven't seen you be able to prove that.
I'm saying that you can't prove it unless you go to criminal court, because family court is based off of evidence.
Right, but they're not going to jail. It's just about the welfare of the kids, and the people.
It's a crime if you're falsely accusing someone of abuse. I'm saying you can't. They only prove it in less than 10% of cases.
Okay.
In criminal court, because criminal court is based off of evidence, family court is not.
So let's just say less than 10%. I'll just give you the benefit of the doubt on that. Still seems like enough to give people the option to leave. And this idea that women just leave whenever they want seems a little bit infantile, because people change, right? Especially when people get married young.
Ethan's not prepared enough on the legal arguments.
People go through shit. People grow apart. A lot of the men who end up being abusive, you hear, were one way before they got married and one way after you get married. So I don't think it's fair to say you're just leaving whenever you want, or you should just have to stay in this forever. Wouldn't you prefer people get married than never get married? Like, I feel like you would be disturbed if, like, only 5% of couples ever got married.
I'd rather people got married than stayed married.
Right, but that wasn't one of the options.
I actually don't see a point in getting married with the way that marriage is today, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just why would you get married? Men are exposed to way too much risk, like blah, 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 blah. I think that Pearl should be locked up and not allowed to give any opinions online until she is married with a kid. Because, like, what is she doing out here as a 26-year-old hardcore rad femme, pursuing her career, not having children, not being with a guy yet? This is like an internationally traveled woman. You should have settled down by now. There's absolutely no reason why she should be wasting her time speaking online, pursuing a career. That's a man's job. Why doesn't she just have a husband, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like the fact that these people even exist, like, is a contradiction to their entire stated belief system.
Yeah, because again, like, what is it? The average marriage is like 8 years. So the average marriage is 8 years and you're done. That's not marriage.
Leaving a marriage due to domestic violence and not pursuing criminal charges. Let's say that a woman's in a marriage and they have no fault marriage divorce. So let's say she doesn't want to charge her husband. She just wants to leave amicably, okay? But in your situation, she's forced to charge him legally, to have a police investigation, charge him for domestic violence. Wouldn't that be more damaging to his reputation?
Yep.
Not if he beat the case, because again, it's based off of evidence, but...
Oh God, Ethan. So if you beat a case, it's not bad for your reputation? Oh, well, in that case, false rape accusations must not matter at all then, Pearl. As long as you beat the case, who cares, right? Like, she doesn't even believe the shit she's saying.
I mean, I think that, why would you want an abusive guy walking free? If he's actually abusive, he should go to jail.
Right.
Shouldn't we agree on that?
Right, but it's just not that simple, again, because, like, this is...
I don't even know if Ethan understands. Actually, he should, because he's had a bit of the... Because he did his whole DMCA court case or whatever on fair use. Like, oh, well, if somebody does something bad, shouldn't they obviously go to jail? Like, yes, if only every single court case, if only every single criminal conviction, where the standard is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, just needed one witness to put somebody behind... Okay, what do you think we're lynching black people in the 50s? Okay, listen, that's not how court systems work today.
It's just not that simple, abuse cases, because... and it's not that simple to convict people.
I just don't think that men should be punished without evidence. And I think in family court, it's not based off of evidence. It's based on a balance of probabilities.
I wish Ethan knew that phrase. All of Pearl's arguments rest on her not understanding what a preponderance of evidence is. Like, every single argument Pearl is making is her misunderstanding the difference between a civil and a criminal matter, thinking that civil matters need no evidence to support them. Oh, it's a civil matter. Oh, it's just something that means no evidence. Like...
And so you have a case where men only, like, they're stuck seeing their kid like 3 days a month, when, again, it's not based off of evidence. Like, I've interviewed guys where literally the wife, and I've seen the court documents, it's coming out in my documentary that's coming out in the fall, but the wife was plotting to...
She's got to be trolling in bad faith on purpose? No, she's not trolling. And I don't even think she's bad faith. She's just surrounded herself with a ton of people that agree with her. She probably is legitimately hearing sad stories of men that are getting fucked over. Because guess what? There probably are men that have gotten fucked over in civil court. They're probably in family court. I'm sure that has happened. Nobody's gonna sit here and say it's perfect, right? There's also a lot of women that get fucked over too, especially not getting child support, especially getting abused or raped and not getting their even charges levied against the guy because they're the only witness, or because they didn't do a rape kit in time, or because they did do a rape kit and it was inconclusive, or blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, I mean, shit happens. But, like, to say that this is the norm or this is the rule is... okay. It's too early. What?
I'm not getting anything.
Good, you don't deserve anything.
What?
What?
You really want your wife to not deserve anything?
You know that paper shit I had you sign when we were filling out your green card? There was a prenup and a postnup. You're not getting shit if I leave, okay? Your life is over.
So if I have your...
You serve no purpose. You don't mean anything. You should kill yourself. All right, in a video game. I'm on YouTube, sorry. Just kidding, I love you.
Steven, your abuse is sick.
I don't love you anymore.
What the?
Okay.
Give me a kiss.
Be careful.
I'm obsessed with your abuse.
Good, I'm glad. Love you.
Get the guy to hit her.
Right, I'm sure that happens, but
and,
you know that...
And the wife still got custody.
Right, but that's not a representative case, again. I mean, for example... You ask why a mom wouldn't want to try a parent. It's more nuanced, right? I mean, you need a more developed take on that, because it's very traumatic for the kids and the family to put their father through a violence case, and especially when the kids are probably going to have to ask to testify, to talk to the police.
True.
I mean, I totally understand why mother or father wouldn't want to put their family through that, don't you?
True. Oh my God, Ethan firing on all 4 cylinders today.
I mean, I can understand it. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. And I mean, according to national statistics on domestic violence, okay, there's 10 million men and women each year that are the victim of physical abuse. But in your world, I have a feeling that a lot of these people would be trapped in these marriages, and that's okay.
I said in one-sided abuse, they could leave. Yes.
Okay.
So, no. Yeah.
Okay. Do you?
I do think
He should push her on what one-sided abuse means, because here, let's say for instance somebody's abusing a partner and then the other person hits back. Is that now no longer one-sided abuse? Now is it two-sided?
I think in order to get custody of your kids, if you're going to accuse the other side of abuse, you should have to prove it.
Do you think what do you think is more harmful to kids, divorce or physical abuse?
Physical abuse.
Okay, you passed that one. But you have to think about it
She must have gotten grilled on that question too many times. Good job.
for a second.
Or she watched the clips that went viral on all the MLD shit and realized, I should probably answer this one like not a fucking moron.
But anyway, let's move on from this.
No, I just thought it was kind of a silly question. That was all. But
Okay, that's refreshing. Tell me, what does red pilled mean to you? Because I've heard you use that.
I don't think Ethan realizes, but the maneuvering there was really funny. So she sighs, and he's like, oh, well, you passed that. And she's like, I just thought it was a silly question. And the bait there is for Ethan to be like, well, why would you think? But he's just like, oh, cool, I'm glad we agree that it was a silly question. And then moved on. I don't think he did that intentionally, but it was really smart. That was a QTE passed. Yeah.
Phrase a lot. You're part of the red pilled community.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people. I will say a lot of people have their own definitions of it, so people use it for different things. But I would say it's viewing the world the way it's supposed to be, or the way it is, not the way you're told it is. So, for example, a lot of guys think if they treat a girl nice and give her flowers, that she'll essentially sleep with him, and then a lot of guys find out that's not true, and so then they came together and realized that. So it's just one thing.
Is that true? Do men really believe that?
But what do you mean?
That if you buy flowers and be nice, she'll sleep with you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's real. I think that's a really odd way to describe dating. It's just men are nice guys and women
Well, I
are.
just think
Wait, that's not even the red pill. No? Isn't the idea of the red pill the idea that people say that as long as you try nice, you get ahead, women will like you for who you are and blah, blah, blah. But the red pill is realizing that no, there is sexual market value. Women value things like fame, physical attraction, resources. So the amount of money you have, this is the red pill, is realizing where people actually stand in the world, the value that men and women actually have in the world. That's the red pill. Not that guys getting friend zoned by women because they bought them flowers and didn't get their dick sucked.
It seems very cartoonish. We're talking about real world stuff, and it's just you can't really.
I just think men don't expect women to reproduce more with felons than non-felons. I think that's a surprise.
That's not a surprise. That's a surprise to you, because you think that having more money means that you have the ability to have more kids. The reality is poor people have more children. So the felon stat, that's not even that surprising, right? Felons are probably some of the lowest class people in terms of socioeconomic status. So no, that wouldn't be surprising that felons have more children than non-felons. But in her world, she's thinking oh, women are probably felons because they're the bad boys, and that's what women want. They want to be left by some guy that's in fucking jail for selling crack and stabbing some dude, and to be a single mom. No, they're just fucking more because they're low socioeconomic status, and those people tend to fuck more and have more children.
Women reproduce more with felons than
Violent
non-felons.
Yeah. I mean, think about it.
Wait, hold on.
Why?
Yeah, what does that mean? So,
Yes,
so
why?
felons who are procreating have more kids in general than non-felons. What does that stat mean?
Yeah.
They have more children with felons than non. It's I don't remember
why?
if it's violent felons versus non-violent felons, but I just remember violent felons have more children than non-violent felons.
But why?
And so there's men who are looking at that and they're pissed.
No, not.
I've never heard that stat in my life.
No, I think just surprised.
Right, I've never heard that stat.
Okay.
She can't cite
Is there
it,
a source
source
for that? It
it.
just seems kind of an odd stat. What does it prove? Felons have more kids.
Oh, that's such a good question, Ethan. Don't let her get away from this. What does that prove? That's such a good question. What are you trying to say with that stat? A lot of these people just hang these numbers out there and they don't actually go anywhere with them. She's obviously implying that women want to hook up with the Chad alpha bad boy murderer and not the beta bucks guy, right? She's doing the alpha fucks beta bucks argument, essentially the dual mating strategy from Rollo without saying it in as many words.
Kids
Well,
than non-felons.
Well, I think the reasoning is because women want a guy that can, protect her, basically.
There it is.
A felon?
Yeah.
That's a weird.
Why do you think Ted Bundy had love letters?
Oh well, that.
Wait, hold on. Was Ted Bundy an alpha wait, why would she compare? They always go to the celebrities too. You ever notice that they always go to the celebrities, even though they'll always say oh, don't use exceptions, blah, blah, blah. Also, wait, what am I supposed to, oh, it was this one.
It's a whole different weird phenomenon about women being interested.
Also, remember what I said too. For all of these dating shows, all of these podcasts, all this red pill garbage, okay? They don't ever talk about real relationships. They don't ever talk about real dating advice. Everything is framed through this fantasy world of people are trying to kill us constantly, and I need to defend you from all the bad guys.
weird niche
No,
of
but
women
that's the
involved.
point.
All
That's the
serial
point.
killers.
That's surprising.
Right, it is
Right.
surprising, but I don't think it's any interesting commentary on the dating scene that serial killers get love letters from freaks. You know what I mean? Richard Ramirez
well,
did too. All serial killers do. So,
Yeah, but the point is it's one, like, it's not the same for women. It's just men.
so what is your point exactly?
Wait, how many female serial killers are there? The funny thing is, there's a whole there's a whole Twitter account called like, isn't it called like Shorty Mugshots, where like guys are like simping for women that have like nice mugshots that are being like, but I mean, how many? There's probably like 2 serial killer women, like at all.
That what does that prove? That felons have more kids than non-felons?
Yes.
You know, that a lot of times women pick the bad boys, you know? I mean,
There it is. Thank you, Ethan, for making her say that. God, she's so fucking retarded. Thank you.
that's pretty much it.
Of having more kids.
With, I mean, a guy that's a violent felon, you don't think? Okay.
I like how she also has no defense. She's like, okay. Like, she doesn't have any way to defend any of the points, too. Like, for as much as I make fun of lefties, a lot of these red pillars sit in their echo chambers as well. You could tell she's never had her opinion critically challenged ever. Because, like, she can't even name a source for her shit, which, on one end, I normally say that, like, going source, that's kind of cringe. But if you're working in a documentary, you should probably be ready to at least say like, oh, well, like this group of people studies this thing, or these groups of people study this thing. Or you should be willing to explain, like, anytime somebody's relying on a single stat or number and they can't give any context or an explanation behind it, it's because they probably don't know much about it. They've just memorized a couple of talking points and they don't know what they're actually talking about. Which for like a civilian, for like you guys, like a normal person, I guess is fine. But if you're actually like out here, like as a content creator or as whatever the call it, documentarian, is that a word, documentarian, people that are making films and shit, like, you should be able to contextualize these things and argue about them a lot more.
Is there a source for that? It's just a really weird stat. I'm just trying to grapple with it.
I can get it in a second.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, we can try to look for it too. I just want to hear it.
Then I can show you where I found it.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, Casey Anthony got love letters apparently. So she was a serial killer, right?
Oh, babe.
Oh, she killed her daughter.
Not serial, just a one-timer.
So Casey Anthony murdered her daughter, and she was getting love letters too. She got letters proposing marriage. Don't you find that surprising?
Yeah, that is surprising.
So in a sense, it goes both ways, kind of when you look at it holistically.
Yeah, no, I think it's more so for women pick violent men more than men pick violent women.
Based on what?
How can your whole worldview be built off of feelings, right? Like, yeah, what are you basing that off of? Where does that come from? Let's see what she'll say.
I think you can just... I would just say...
Remember, documentary. Hold on. Remember, not only is she making a documentary about this, she's been having conversations about this on her stream exclusively for weeks. No, I'm sorry. What am I saying? For years. No, years? At least like over a year. She's been talking about these same issues nonstop. How do they not have a collection of stats that they can't just fucking rattle off? How do they not have a collection of studies? We've done this with trans stuff. We've done this with COVID. We've done this with vaccines. We've done this with education. We've done this with economic. Like, there are so many things. And we'll only have like a week on these topics. And we'll like know, like, oh yeah, like, NBR did a study on this, or Nature published a thing about the Wuhan virus, or not the Wuhan virus, the COVID virus, where it came from Wuhan, blah, 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 blah. How does she not have anything? Like, I feel like they should be like masters of debate in these particular topics. Like, oh, you don't know about the divorce stat? Well, in the United Kingdom, they did a study on this. The NHS collected this data, and the CDC has this data, blah, blah. How do you not know anything? How is it that you're just like, well, isn't it obvious? Because like everybody that I bring on my show agrees with me. Like, how do you not do any research? And I'm not even saying like do intentional research, but how doesn't this just come up like accidentally through like the months and months and months you spent on these topics?
I would guess that it's more common with women because of that study versus like a fringe case. I would be surprised if women got the same amount of letters, but I could be
You
wrong.
might be surprised, but do you feel that sometimes you argue from emotion rather than like concrete facts? I find that when you talk about, and I've watched a lot of your videos, you say stuff that I don't think has much of a backing in reality. It's based on feelings, maybe instead of not emotions, but feelings. You say, I feel this to be true. Do you feel you do that a lot or no?
I try. I would say I'm a woman. So
I'm a woman. Oh, I was
yeah.
just gonna say that. She was gonna use that cop out. She was gonna, yeah, as a woman, I am emotional. Oh, it's such a cop out. Fuck. I was gonna pre-watch that one and I didn't say it because I didn't think she'd actually be dumb enough to finally say it, but she did say it.
But, hold on. Do you want me to find it or no?
Sure. Yeah. I'll give you a minute. That's totally fine. Okay. So why should I engage with in a conversation with you at all if women are just emotional? Shouldn't I be talking to a man about this?
True.
Probably.
Why do you bother to even have a platform? Shouldn't you just concede to a man?
Yeah, probably. You know.
God, she's
so we gotta look for a man to
weak.
replace you. Don't you think?
No, not really.
You don't think? Okay. But you do think women are more emotional.
I gotta find. Hold
Okay, go
on.
ahead. I'll give you a minute. Sorry, I won't.
Okay, sorry. I'm trying to like
That's all
talk to
good.
you and find it at the same time.
Yeah, I'll give you a minute there. But it's fine too. We can move on. I'll give you a minute, but we don't have to get stuck on it.
Okay.
It's fine. I mean, it's fine. We can move on.
Is this even a hard number to find?
I found it.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, perfect.
Oh, there we go.
Felons, more children than non-felons.
Here. The link, he pulls up a study in this stream, so the link is on here.
Whose stream is it?
It's Rollo's stream.
Rollo Tony.
But
Brown.
yeah, he's great actually.
Wait,
I know
she's
you're
not
fine.
even
He
pulling
seems
up an
like a nice
actual
guy.
number. She's just
Yeah,
going
he's
by a
really
Rollo
nice.
stream.
I like.
Do you remember what I said yesterday when I was talking to Amy? That the problem that I have with a lot of people that say they do their own research is their research is watching somebody else cite something they don't even know about.
Like his head wear.
I like when he rocks out.
Where do I send it to?
The
Send it in the Zoom chat.
Zoom chat, yeah.
Or you
Oh,
can
it's
just
on
tell
my
me the
phone.
name of it and I can pull it up.
Okay.
You
It's in Rollo Tomasi is offensive and vile. It's like 7 months ago. But yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll look into it. So if women are so emotional, do you think it's bad faith in terms of an argument to argue from feelings and to present feelings as facts? Do you think that's a bad faith way to argue or no?
No, I was kind of kidding. I was like
What were you
joking.
thinking?
When I don't know, whatever you were asking me earlier. You're like, do you? I don't even remember. You said something like, "Do you think you should have a platform?" Or like,
Well, right. Well, I asked and you said, well, I'm a woman. Of course I'm going to. I asked you, do you feel that you make arguments based on feeling? And you said, yes, I do because I'm a woman.
oh yeah, I was kidding. No, I use facts to back up my arguments. Sometimes I'd say I'm wrong. Sometimes I think something and it's not correct. But I would say most of my opinions, I try to at least have a basis of fact. Yes.
Okay.
Some things you just see in reality, right? I mean, like
Some things you
sometimes
just
you're
see.
gonna, yeah. I mean, you can, like some things you just learn from interviewing hundreds of people. You see patterns.
Right. But sometimes when you interview people, you interviewing specific people with specific experiences, you're
Yes.
obviously going to run into a
Selection bias, yes. Good job, Ethan. Yes.
No, I don't think so, because we do street interviews all the time too. So
Oh
that's
my
like random
God.
people on the street.
Okay, fair enough. So there's the red pilled, which are people who see the world for what it is. And then you have blue pilled people, which I'm assuming is someone like me. I don't want to put words in your mouth. But what does blue pilled mean?
People that see the world for how they
Gynocentric.
like it to be.
Please say gynocentric. I hope that word comes up at least one time in this conversation. Gynocentric.
I guess.
Okay.
But I don't talk much about, I guess, like blue pill. But yeah.
Okay, fair enough. We don't have to focus in on that.
Oh,
So
cringe.
I've noticed that one of the primary focuses of your content is kind of the problems facing men and how there's so much unfair societal pressures or norms or expectations on men. Why is it that you're so singularly focused on the troubles of men?
Hi, Amelia. Be careful.
Why am I focused on the troubles of men? And that's an interesting way to, I guess, phrase my content. I would say I think it's unfortunate what happens to men in divorce court. So that's probably what I talk about the most. Is I think that men should have access to their children.
That's not what you talk about the most. You definitely talk about stuff like pay gap myth. You talk about men want younger girls. You talk about men are just doing what's in their nature. You talk about women who have higher body count are less desirable. I'll be honest, I watched a lot of your stuff, and the vast majority is not about divorce court. It's about this kind of like dating coach stuff.
No, I wouldn't say I'm a dating coach, but okay.
Oh, but that realm, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mean you're a dating coach, but like that kind of realm, it seems that you're super focused on. So what is your interest in that?
Well, bro's
Manosphere.
pressing
Maybe that's
her.
a better term. Manosphere stuff.
What is my interest? I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, so that's what we talk about.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh my God.
So what is, you say you're anti-feminism. Feminism was basically a mistake. So what is your problem with feminism? Let's start there. That's a good point. Right?
I think that feminism wants equality when it benefits us and not actual equality.
Like the draft.
And are you going back to the beginning of feminism? Like the whole history of feminism, like women's suffrage and everything?
Yeah, no, I don't.
You don't fuck with women's suffrage?
No.
You don't think women should get the right to vote?
No, I don't.
Okay, so are you serious or are you kidding?
No, I'm serious.
Okay, so women shouldn't have the right to vote.
Because they don't serve in the military.
Yeah,
Why?
no.
They don't have to be drafted.
Because men are signed up for selective service, so they're fined $300,000 if
There
they're
it
not,
is.
if they don't sign up for selective service when they're 18.
Do you think women should be
so I
drafted into the army?
I think if we want the same rights, it comes with the same responsibilities.
Do you think
And
women should be
personally-
drafted into the army?
No.
Okay, so
No,
then
that's my
there's a
point.
paradox
No, but that's
there.
my point. I'm saying, like, let's make it fair.
You don't believe? Well, listen, this is your perfect
No,
world.
I'm saying that if we are going to vote, have the same cost, which is that men are put into selective service and women are not. And if I had to pick between the two, then I would give up the right to vote instead of sign up for selective service.
Okay, so you're saying women should only get the right to vote if they sign up for selective service, but at the same time, you're saying women should not serve in the military. So in your world, women are just going to be disenfranchised.
True.
They're not gonna be able to sign. They shouldn't serve in the military because they're not as good fighters.
No,
right?
no, I'm saying for me personally, I would not want to sign up for selective service if I had to pick.
So
I would give that up.
you think women should be given the choice if they want to do selective service or not?
I think if we're going to vote, we should have no choice like the men do.
So women should be drafted mandatory into selective service, you believe?
No, that's
Okay, but don't you see the
not,
there's
you're not
an
saying
issue, there's
back
a
what I said.
problem here.
I said, if feminists want the right to vote, right, then it should come with the draft. It should come. I mean, it's not called the draft anymore. It's called selective service. Personally, in Pearl's world,
No, that's not true, you stupid fuck. She doesn't know anything about what she talks about. She used to talk about so much. It's not that it's not called the draft or selective service. Selective service is what you enroll in when you turn, I believe it's 18 years old as a man. The draft is when we have a military conflict that requires us to start drafting our young men into the military. There hasn't been a draft for what, since Vietnam? There hasn't been a draft in a long fucking time. Selective service is not the draft. We don't just call it something different. She actually is so stupid. She doesn't know anything about any of the shit she's talking about at all. Like, she doesn't even know a little bit about anything she's talking about. She's like memorized talking points. Oh my God.
I do not want to be drafted. I do not want to be in selective service. So
I'm asking you, like, in general, in terms of policy, because obviously I think it's safe to say women in general want the right to vote, right? And so then, by your logic, women need to be entered into selective service, right? But you don't think that should happen, or you think that's okay?
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Not you. I mean, in general, the women, because women
Right.
want to vote. So how do we resolve this issue? Do they get drafted like men?
I mean, I think it's unlikely that women will ever have the right to vote taken away. So I guess moving forward, maybe net taxpayers potentially you could do, but that's
Sorry,
a whole
net taxpayers?
that's a whole nother conversation. But
Wait, what
no,
does
I
that
think
mean?
if we're gonna vote, I think that we should have the same responsibility as the men and be enlisted in selective service.
Okay.
So
Okay, so you're saying women should also have to sign up for selective service when they turn 18, like men.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying if you're gonna be equal, make it equal.
Okay.
And for me, I don't want to do that. No, thank you. Keep me out of that.
Okay, so right. I understand that's your preference, but I'm just trying to understand, like, the policy that in your red pill, we're doing the red pill, we're seeing the world as it is.
No, I wouldn't assign that belief to like red pill. That's not really like a red pill belief. That's
Okay,
just mine.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make a point about. So do you think having women in the army would weaken our military?
Yes.
So then probably don't draft women into the army.
Yeah, but then take away the vote with it.
But you're not giving that doesn't
So
seem
you're
very
saying
fair,
women should
you know
never
what
be
I'm
able to vote. That's essentially
You
what
say,
you're
well, you guys are weaker.
saying.
You guys are gonna
Ethan's doing a
weaken our
really good
military.
job at pointing out the logical
We don't want you in the military.
trap here,
But because you're
basically.
not in the military, you don't get the right to vote. It's a catch-22, you know what I mean? So what do we do about that?
Well, I'll tell you what I think we should do.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, it goes back to, I just think that you have to have some skin in the game. And so it's like, if we're voting for a commander in chief, right, that's the person that decides if we go to war or we don't go to war. And so it's easy to, again, I think that if you're going to vote, you should have the same responsibility as the men. And women don't want to do that. It's either we're equal or we're not equal.
Okay, well,
If
just
we're
to be
equal,
fair.
if we're really equal, have the same responsibility. But again, it's equality when it benefits us.
Well, but your logic doesn't even make sense. I mean, you're talking about, first of all, there hasn't been a draft in the United States in 50 years, right? So if there was a draft, maybe we could have this conversation, but it just seems kind of silly. In 50 years, there hasn't been a mandatory draft. It just hasn't happened. So, so why is it a big deal, I guess, about the selective service? But there's not going to be another draft. You know what I mean? There's enough people in the army. I don't think that there's going to be a draft. It's just not going to happen. And with the way technology is going, we're going to have autonomous robot fighters before there's a draft. You know
Probably.
what I mean? So why does it matter? I just don't see the point with the selective service thing.
I just think it's, again, like, women want all the rights without the
What other
responsibility.
ones?
If you don't think that there's going to be a draft, then equally do what the men do. Men
They
are fined $3,000.
They don't have the
Sign up for
option. They
selective-
don't even have the option right now.
Right, so give them the option.
Okay,
I'm
let's
just
give them the
saying,
option.
Make it equal.
But
Not the option. It has to be mandatory.
I
If
know,
we're
but
gonna
you
make
saying, like, women want the right to vote, but they don't want to enter in selective service, but it's not an option. So how do you know what all women want?
I don't know what all women want.
So then why are you saying things that are generalized all women?
I'm saying okay, because I'm looking at the policies that have been pushed. And I'm saying the policies
She's going to complain afterwards that she got ambushed in this interview 1,000,000%, by the way.
are not like where are the feminists fighting for equality in this situation? Like when
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not that relevant, but also no women in the army is a kind of a byproduct of patriarchy, because women are looked as that they'd weaken the military, as you pointed out. Is that possible that it's been driving that policy and not so much women?
I didn't say women drove that policy. I said they don't try to make it equal. It's only equal when it benefits us.
Even if nobody's being actually drafted.
I mean, 50 years isn't that long of. I mean, who's to say? You don't know, but okay.
50 years. I mean, the last mandatory draft was like during
men are,
Vietnam, wasn't it?
Do you not think it should be equal? So you think that it shouldn't be?
No, I think it's.
Were we drafting all the way up to the 70s? I don't know how long we were drafting for, but it was the entire Vietnam conflict.
Selective service. Fine. I'm fine with that. I think it's fine. Okay. I think everyone should sign up for it. And there's other ways that people can support the military other than being on the front line, right? Right. So, what other rights do women want? You know what I mean? That are contradictory.
Okay, women want the right to not be a mother, but men don't have the right to not be a father. So women can have a, which I know at various states. I'm in the UK, so I forget sometimes the US.
She's going to talk about. Well, let's see if she uses the phrase financial abortion. Let's see if she uses that phrase.
Different by state, but like in the UK, abortion's free up to 6 months, but a man can't opt out of child support. So it's like, why does he have the right to not be a father, but women don't? Or why do women have the right to not be mothers, but men don't have the right to not be fathers? I don't think that's fair or equal.
Sorry, just to go back.
She's describing a financial abortion. I don't know if these guys have picked up on that term yet. That's what they used to call it a long time ago.
For a sec. So feminists actually do. They want the draft abolished. So their point is, let's not sign up for the service. Let's abolish the draft altogether. So they are fighting for equality. They are against the draft. There should be no draft. So men and women shouldn't be drafted. That is also equality, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So you accept the premise is wrong on that?
I don't. I mean, it's still not equal the way it is. But yeah, what they're saying.
It's not equal the way it is. Sure. And feminists agree. Feminists agree with you.
Oh, okay. I've never heard him talk about that, but
do you listen to a lot of feminists?
Does she think the average feminist is like a fucking war hawk? Does she think the average feminist is like, we need to go to war with everybody and send all of them into war? Like, have you heard a feminist talk ever about anything ever? That's like, if somebody come to me, did you know that feminists are generally anti-war? That would be the least surprising thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't necessarily know that, but that's not surprising at all. Like,
ideology? Do you read books? Do you listen to lectures? Do you listen to a lot of that stuff?
So I talk to feminists all the time.
Right. I haven't seen you talk.
And by talk to feminists, she means talk to the 19 to 20-year-old uni girls that she pulls onto her stream that they recruit through Instagram.
To an actual scholar once. You just talk to kind of random women.
Yes. Good,
right?
yes.
I mean, that's fair to say. Right.
This feels like some fucking Tim and Eric shit.
Ideology? Do you read books? Do you listen to lectures? Do you listen to a lot of that stuff?
So I talk to feminists all the time.
Right. I haven't seen you talk to an actual scholar once. You just talk to kind of random women. Right. I mean, that's fair to say. Right. So when you say you talk to feminists, you just mean like random women off the street. Not like a scholar.
That's say they're feminists.
Yeah, but the feminism
doesn't count.
It's like a.
It doesn't count.
Well, you said you know what feminists believe because you talk to a lot of feminists, but I'm talking about like.
No, I said I've never heard them bring it up. So,
oh my God.
Do you have any interest in talking to feminist scholars who are more aware with like kind of what feminism?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I think that would be good.
Send them to the UK.
But they're in the UK.
No, I actually tried for some, but then they'll be like, "You're a hateful woman." Da 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 da. There's one that's I can't even remember, some blonde chick out here. Can't remember her name, but yeah, she didn't want to come on.
Blondes.
No, I'm just saying that was that's what she looked like. I don't know her name. I forget.
But like, I mean, my point is like when you just bring a random girl and they say, "Yeah, I'm a feminist," it's kind of like the Steven Crowder changed my mind. Versus like actually talking to someone who's involved in like the scholastics, the academia of what feminism means historically in modern day and previously. So the level of discourse you would have is obviously different. So feminists are in favor of equality though. So I don't know if that's interested you or not. You don't believe me?
I'll take your word.
You can trust me. I'm a man.
Okay.
Okay. So moving on. We're talking about feminism. So what other? So you're talking about divorce court. Sorry, I know you were making a point. So let's go back to that. You were saying that women can decide to terminate a pregnancy, therefore they can choose to be a mom, but men cannot decide that, and they don't get the choice to be the dad.
To not be a dad.
Right. So do you think that like? Do you not think that the idea that the baby, obviously the reason for that, right, which we both know, is that because the baby's inside the woman's body.
I don't think that matters. Yeah.
So
I mean, personally, I'm pro-life, so I don't believe in abortion at all. But again, it's the double standard. It's like women have a choice, but men do not have a choice. Sure. No, I see that there is a sense to that, which is unfair. Although there are a lot of single moms, as you pointed out. Yeah, that are on child support. Not all.
Please bring up that 50% of women do not receive their full allocated child support. Please bring that up. 50% of women. Come on, Ethan.
But
Well, men have the choice in the sense that they can just wear a condom.
Right. And women have but women have the choice to go on birth control.
Okay.
Women have the choice to take Plan B. Women have the choice to get an abortion. Women have the choice to take the morning after pill. Women have the choice. You use like IUD. There's a million pills.
Right, but those will have to do with pregnancy. But I'm saying if a man
women also can require men to put on condoms or not put on condoms.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Women can also require that the men that they sleep with wear condoms.
Right, but if it's inherently unfair to men, the easy solution is just it kills all this discussion is men just put on condoms when they have sex. Therefore, that.
Well, you can also say women close your legs, like.
Yeah, but you're the one saying that it's unfair for men. That's my point. You're saying men don't have a choice.
I'm saying women have like 10 choices. The men have.
But that's just biology.
The men have condom or no condom, which again is a choice that both of them make because the women can require that the men wear condoms too.
Right.
But you're only not in the men.
I'm just saying.
Once the baby is conceived, right?
Yeah.
Then the man has no choice, where the woman has a choice.
Okay, so let's just talk about that then, because so it's your opinion that if a woman is pregnant, the man should be able to decide for her to have an abortion.
I'm pro-life, so I would ban it altogether. My point is the double standard, where a man is legally obligated to pay child support and will go to jail if he doesn't, but the woman has the choice to not be a mother through abortion.
I know you're against abortion, but I just want to know what you mean. So let's just say we're trying to make it equal for men. So should men be able to decide for a woman to have an abortion if she's pregnant?
I think that men should be able to sign off on child support.
Okay, so if they say, hey, I don't want anything to do with this baby,
yeah,
then the woman can decide to have it, but the father will have no obligations.
Yes.
And you think that's better for society?
No, I think that's equal. That's more fair.
Okay, so you're more interested in fairness than the welfare of society as a whole?
No, if it was up to me, if we wanted to go with good for society, I don't think abortion should be legal.
No, I know. We're having.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you want to make it fair, I don't think that's fair that the woman, after she gets pregnant, so they both make the irresponsible decision, right? Because you'd agree it's irresponsible if it's an unplanned pregnancy that the woman, had sex with a guy without protection, right? We'd agree? Yes?
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Okay. So you would agree that's equally irresponsible when it first happens?
Although I guess by your logic, it would be more irresponsible for the men because he has less choices. But yeah, they're both doing something irresponsible.
Well, but yeah, they're both irresponsible. So my point is, after that happens, women have the choice to not be a mother, but men don't have the choice not to be a father. At least, if they don't pay child support, they can go to jail.
Right, because that's for the benefit of the children, which is what's the...
Wait, I don't get why she says it don't sound like it's a choice. Like, there's no simple oh, never mind. I read it. Yeah, true.
The most important thing.
Yeah, but is it for the benefit of the kid to kill him?
Say what?
It's not for the benefit of the kid. Like the woman can make.
Wait, what do you mean to kill who?
I mean, I'm pro-life, so again, yeah.
Abort the baby.
So if we're gonna go for the benefit of the kid, if your argument is let's do what's best for the benefit of the kid, the benefit of the kid is not killing the child. Right? I mean, and for me, I believe it's a kid, right? You might not.
What's that have to do with the fairness to the man? I don't understand that.
You don't understand. It's not fair, again, that men have the choice, that men do not have the choice.
I understand what you're saying.
Women, yeah.
But then, okay, whatever. We're arguing in circles a little bit. Let's talk about abortion then, since you're against abortion. I'm assuming your stance is abortion should be off the table in any situation.
Yes.
So if a dad rapes his daughter, then she needs to give birth to that baby.
That's less than 1% of cases. Why
just bite the bullet and say yes, you stupid fuck. Just say yeah, even in case of rape. By the way, I will tell you, as somebody that is currently pro-choice, okay, the worst people in the world, okay, you can be pro-life and say abortion is fine if the life of the mother is threatened, okay? Everybody is, even pro-life people will generally give you that. Most religious people say, sure, if the mom is gonna die, sure, you can have an abortion, because it's like a medical procedure at that point, okay? That's a position that can be defended, and obviously being pro-choice positions can be defended. The least defensible position ever are people that say, I'm pro-life except in cases of rape or incest. Wait, so you think it's murdering a baby, but you can murder the baby if it was conceived in like an illegitimate manner? How does that make murder okay? That is the least coherent, most fence-sitting pussy bitch position you could ever possibly have when it comes to abortion. Oh my God.
No.
I know,
but that's important, Pearl.
Because
if you're going to have a conversation about difficult things, let's talk about the difficult things. This is why the laws exist. The laws exist to protect that little girl.
I'm saying let's talk about the most common thing.
That's easy. That's easy. That's not what's difficult about this.
But I'm saying we can get to the difficult things later. But it's like, why do you guys bring up the most
Because that's the interesting part. I'm telling you, the law is there to protect on those fringe cases.
I'm saying,
why
don't we start with the majority of abortion?
Didn't we just do that?
You think, okay.
What do you want to say? You don't agree with abortion. So, like, if a men and women have sex and they're both being irresponsible, then sure, I understand. You say abortion's bad because we don't want to murder babies. That's not controversial. That's easy to understand. The point of these laws is to protect the little girl who's raped by her dad. These are the challenging issues. So this is why I ask you about it, because this is the byproduct of your position of no abortions are allowed under any circumstance.
Could you expand on why that's a real fence-sitting take? Because if you're pro-life, because you think that abortion is murder, why would it matter if the girl was raped or if the sex was consensual? How does a raped mother give you the right to murder a baby?
So if you're willing to take that position, you can't just dismiss this because you are saying that this girl who's raped by her dad should have the baby.
I just think we
You need to
spend a
answer
lot
that.
of time. Hold on. I just think we spend a lot of time arguing about fringe cases that are less than like 0.5%.
Those are the important cases. That's
and
why
I don't think those are as important as the 99.5% of cases. And so sometimes I think it's a bit disingenuous to say, here's this extreme fringe case that happened. And I don't think you don't make a law for the exception.
Yes,
like
you do.
You don't make laws. The general law is not for the exception; it's for the rule. Like why
That's
would
not
you
an exception.
What is she even talking
exceptions
about?
are important to the law.
Okay,
That's the whole point.
Wait, do you not-
We don't make laws for like exceptions. What does she think like a self-defense law is? Like a self-defense is exceptionally. There are going to be times you murder people and it was worth it. Or what are you like? It's such a stupid statement. Like.
I think it's an exception, like a 13-year-old girl getting raped by her. I don't know what you can say on YouTube.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. I don't think raped is gonna.
We stay away.
Yeah.
I don't know. But do you not think that's an exception?
And by exception, but
It's
she was
not
raped.
common.
What do you mean by exception?
Right. Like, do you think it's common?
No, of course it's not common.
Okay, that's my point. Like we waste.
Do you think that it's less
so much
important?
time.
Do you think it's less important because it's not
I think it's
common?
more. I think it's more important to talk about the 99.5% of abortion.
That's easy. That's an easy conversation. It's not like I get your position there.
Yeah.
But law.
But
listen, you can
to
write,
answer,
Pearl, you
yeah.
can write exceptions into laws. That's why they exist. Because why should that girl who's raped by her dad forced to give birth to that baby because you didn't want to have a conversation about her?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would still make it illegal, to be honest. Because again, I think you either think it's a life or you don't. So if you think it's a child, you're never gonna.
There you go. Thank you.
You're never gonna
Jesus.
encourage killing
Just
a
say
child
that in the
under any
beginning.
exception,
Yes.
so.
Right. And that's I guess where the big difference comes between abortion. People are for and against abortion is that we disagree on where life begins, essentially.
Right.
But ultimately, what quality of life do you expect this child to have from like a 13-year-old girl who's raped by her dad?
No, that's a bad. Oh no, Ethan, don't go down. This is like the one bad argument pathway. You never want to argue that we ought to be able to kill somebody just because like their quality of life might be shit. That's you almost never want to make that argument. That's a losing argument.
Mm-hmm. Is a lower quality life less valuable? Like that's almost saying if you are in a bad situation, your life is less valuable than someone who isn't. And that's kind of a tricky argument.
Not less valuable, but I mean, if we're
But one should be aborted, one shouldn't. So one should be in society, one shouldn't be in society. I would say that's less valuable.
well, it's more about you were talking about fairness. You were interested in the idea of fairness, right? Instead of the welfare of society. So let's talk about fairness. You know what I mean? Is it fair to the little girl that she was forcibly impregnated by her dad?
Right, but is it fair? Is it fair to the child?
Okay, so who's
Like that's like we could talk
a
about
13-year-old is a
fairness.
child, by the way. She's 13. She's a child.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think that's horrible, and I think there should be the death penalty for rapists. But yeah, I'm sorry, like I don't believe in abortion. And again, to me, I think that's a child, and I just can't advocate for the murder of a kid under
Okay,
any
that's
circumstance.
fair. I understand where you're coming from. What about situations where like 12% of abortions are related to health crises, where there's a chance the woman might die or the baby might die or both? Your thoughts on that?
I don't know enough about those situations to really have an opinion on it. I would probably guess that they would likely both die in those situations. So
Sometimes it's just the
maybe
mom.
that's an exception, but I don't know enough about that stuff.
Right. Well, we
Wait,
can use our
what?
imagination, just for the hypothetical conversation where there's 12%. I'm telling you, there are 12% of abortions are related to health crises. So if it's the baby lives but the mom dies, what do you think should happen in that situation?
I don't know.
Okay. The reason I'm putting your feet to the fire on this is because you says very specifically that abortion should be outlawed in all situations. So of course, I'm testing that.
Yeah, I could maybe see an exception for the life of the mother, but I've heard, and I don't want to quote this because, again, it's just something I've heard. I've heard it's not as common as people lead you to believe, and sometimes those stats are manipulated, but I don't.
Yeah, but the commonness doesn't really matter. It's more about that. I think the exceptions are interesting. I disagree. I think when you say, why are we focusing on the exceptions? I think that's a way for you to try to dismiss difficult questions.
Yeah. I just think it's silly when 99.5%.
I feel like every single time she starts something with I just think, it's like the most pussyfooting around. I don't really want to have a strong position on anything, and I just kind of want to say my thing, and I don't want to be challenged. It's such a weak lead to start I just think this. I just think that we should. I just think that oh God, it's so
Abortions are not the exception, so.
So you don't. But that doesn't make sense. I mean, why don't you care about the situation of everybody else just because it's not the. Because it's the exception.
I just think you should spend more time debating the most common thing. So that's, my opinion.
Okay. Very good. So we talked about feminism. The problem with feminism is that women want equality, but they don't really want equality. They need to sign up for the military, which feminists want to abolish the draft. And then we're talking about reproductive rights, where the women get all the choice in the middle. Is there any other ones?
I'm sorry, I was reading something. What'd you say?
Is there any other examples other than reproductive rights
She's
and
getting
voting
tips. I bet Rollo's watching and DMing her.
that shows that feminism was a mistake or that feminism or something like that?
I would just say, like, there's just a lack. The biggest one I would say is divorce court. 90% women get custody 80 to 90% of the time. I think 90% of alimony payments are awarded to women.
What does that have to do with women's suffrage, though? You said you criticized the whole thing going all the way back to its inception.
I thought you asked other double standards. No.
Well, I asked you what's your problem with feminism in general. We can move on, though. I have a good question for you. I hear you talk a lot about the pay gap.
Right.
The pay gap is a myth. What do you mean by that?
Oh, because women don't do the dangerous jobs in society. So, like, I just think the pay gap.
Wait, do the dangerous jobs even pay the most? What does she mean by dangerous jobs? It's not like cops make a ton of money. It's not like people that work in coal mines make a ton of money. It's not like people that work on, like, I guess oil rig guys make a decent amount of money. I don't know how dangerous those are, but like, are the most dangerous jobs in society even compensated the most?
Majority of the time, the majority is women making an excuse. Yeah, just excuses. Poor me. When
Do you realize you're arguing from emotion right now?
Are you gonna let me finish?
Oh, I just wanted to point that out, but yeah, go ahead.
All right. You asked what I think. You asked what I think.
Well, the pay gap is more concrete than, I asked.
When you take into account the number, women work less hours.
Right.
You don't do the most. Would you say that's true? Women work less hours.
Yeah, statistically that's true.
Would you say it's true that we don't do the most dangerous jobs in society?
Yeah, statistically.
That's true. Would you agree that the majority, if you look at female millionaires, the richest women came from divorce?
Okay.
True or not true?
Yeah, that's true. I guess I think so.
Okay, so what are we complaining about?
What does that have to do with the pay gap? Any of that?
Because all of those you don't think working less hours contributes to getting paid less?
Yeah, but the pay gap. Excuse me. Sorry, I've got phlegm in my throat. So what you're doing is you're misrepresenting what the pay gap is. You understand that? The pay gap, when it's analyzed by economists and the U.S. Department of Labor and such organizations, they do controlled analysis where they eliminate all these factors. For example, ones you listed, women tending to work in lower paid fields. They eliminate women working less. They eliminate for when women take maternity leave, all this kind of stuff. And even when you do a controlled analysis where you eliminate that, there's still a big pay gap.
It's not that
big.
True. That's not that big.
Okay.
Wasn't it like 3%? Last time I checked, it was.
I think it's around like 5 or 6%. I think, but it depends on the numbers you look at. But
3%.
Oh, so there is a pay gap.
Yeah, but that's 3%.
So, but it's not a myth if there's 3%.
That's a pay gap.
Yeah, but the number they used to push was like 77 cents to the dollar.
But that's what it is without the. It's about 20% without the control. Yeah.
Right, and so, when women. Like, I just think if we wanted to be equal, then do the same jobs men do.
But there is a buy. But that's interesting because you admit there is a pay gap. 3%. I wouldn't want to work for 3% less.
Yeah, if you think that's because of gender, but it's also because women are more agreeable. It's like 70.
That's included. That's part of the control.
That's not part of the control. Ethan's just wrong here. But Pearl doesn't know enough to counter him.
Okay.
Did we actually catch up?
I don't think 3% you can really say that's just because of gender.
Well, I did some research on this. The Department of Labor published an in-depth report. This is under Trump's administration in 2019. This is from the U.S. Department of Labor. I can link you the study if you want. It's called Gender-Based Pay Disparity Study. The research team found that the raw gender wage gap was 17.4%, and the median was 20%. The raw wage gap increased actually between 50th and 75th percentile and remains the greatest at the highest percentile. In addition, the research team found that the importance of human capital varied across wage distributions in part-time work as well as female-oriented occupations. The updated result explained about 20 to 70% of the raw wage gap over the wage distribution, but it left an adjusted wage gap of 10 to 15%. That was in 2019, according to the U.S. Department of Labor.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that, but the stuff I've seen, it's very small. It's like 3%.
What stuff have you seen?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I can send it to you.
Sure.
Okay.
But I just gave you a pretty concrete. The U.S. Department of Labor. Do you consider that a credible source?
Yeah. If that's true, it's just a lot of times like there are like parts of the study that they don't talk about. So, Like even on this is what I was looking at earlier. Like they're saying the stat you gave earlier, 12% of abortions are not done on the surgery table of the emergency room. These cases are overwhelmingly doctors advising abortions ahead of time in case there are risks for the mothers in pregnancy. Also, that 12% number they give is highly inflated. And so it's like, it's just a lot of times there's more to it than just like a number you're giving me, but.
I like how now it's more than just a number, but before it was like, did you know that more women have babies with felons percentage-wise? But like then it's just a number. Pearl is right in that it's usually more than just a number if you want to have a good analysis of things, but apparently that only matters when it's things that she agrees or disagrees with. I guess it depends on what side she's playing for.
Yeah, what does that have to do with the pay gap? I'm confused by that.
No, the point is that like a number you gave me earlier, like there was more to it.
Which number? Which one? I'm sorry. Go ahead. We'll unpack that.
Somebody's DMing her. This is so shameless. I think I would kill myself if I got caught like this. Like, well, hold on. I mean, like, what you said earlier didn't make sense. Okay, here's the problem that I have, okay? Tell Ethan that he's not correct when he's talking, or you're not right when you're talking about the, like, bro, really?
The 12% of abortions are not done on the surgery table of the emergency room. These cases are overwhelmingly doctors advising abortions ahead of time in case there are risks for the mother in pregnancy.
That sounds reasonable to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a doctor is qualified to say this baby is going to put your life at risk. I would trust the doctor to say that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but they're saying that number's inflated.
Who's saying that? They didn't say that. What you read did not say it's inflated.
No, I said also that 12% number they're giving you is highly inflated.
Based on what? Because what you just read to me doesn't disprove what I said at all. It actually makes perfect sense.
No, but they're saying it's inflated. I don't know.
They did not say that.
Who's they?
They is the person DMing her. Ethan thinks that they is like some medical researcher or some study or whatever, but Pearl, when she says they, she just means the guy that's in her fucking DMs.
They didn't say that. So here,
wait, who's they?
Rollo Tomasi, the guy DMing her. She doesn't want to admit it.
It's just someone I do research with, so it's
So just
fucking Rollo.
someone.
yeah. Don't.
that's good. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Don't push, right? Here's an interesting analysis. I thought maybe you'd be interested.
Oh man. Okay, I shouldn't have doubted. Well, it's not that I shouldn't doubt Ethan. I shouldn't have doubted Pearl here because I don't know if she can win a debate against anybody. Oh my God.
Women don't do the dangerous jobs. Women are overrepresented in healthcare. You know that probably, right?
Yeah, it's the number one employer is nursing.
Then hopefully you can explain to me why, when you look at the pay of women versus men doctors, look, you can see this graph. There's a huge
Oh, let's see if Pearl can guess this one. My guess would be that the reason why women earn less than male doctors, if I had to guess, it's probably because men choose higher paying specializations within those things. Like men are more, like here's a guess. My guess would be men are probably more likely to be surgeons than women. Maybe, but let's see. Male versus female surgeons percentage or whatever. Oh, okay. That's a lot closer than I thought. 48.8% are women, 51.2% are men. So that wouldn't be right. What about like for highest paying surgeon jobs? Neurosurgery, okay. Percentage of neurosurgeons. What percentage are female? Holy shit. Wait, I am completely off. 67.9% of neurosurgeons are women, and 32.1% of neurosurgeons are men. Wait, men, what's happening, guys? Wait, hold up. Hold up. What's going on here, guys? Damn, I wonder why women are paid so much less on average then. That's really interesting. I wonder if this annual salary is taking into account like pregnancy leave or something. Thoracic surgery. Okay, orthopedic. Percentage of orthopedic surgeons are women. Wait, hold on. Somebody said not true. 7% of neurosurgeons are women. Oh, this says 7.4% of orthopedic surgeons are female. That's a really low one. That's really low. Huh. Interesting. Damn, I wonder what the divides are. Why they're so big in some of these.
Disparity of the average wage of male doctors versus female doctors. Mm-hmm. You can see here, and even this is from 2022, last year. This is again from the physician compensation report. Male doctors make on average $285,000 per year.
That Lauren chick mentioned that women have steadier hands when she was on Fresh and Fit. Do they? Maybe. I don't know.
Female doctors make on average $228,000 per year.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the women's field, and yet they're still making significantly less than their male counterparts.
Okay, does it say why?
No, this is raw data. This is just raw data.
Okay. I mean, you have to look at why.
Why? Wait, now the why is important. This is what I also. This is what I said. This is what I mean when I say conservatives or people on the right or whatever, or red pillars, they're actually incredibly smart. I'll say sometimes, oh, they're so stupid. They're not stupid. They know what good data is. They know what good research is, okay? If I roll out a number and I say 92% of women say that they want to fuck alpha Chad, pool boy, they'll be like, oh, I believe that number. I don't even need a study. But as soon as I'm like, did you know that 42% of women say that they would stay with a guy even if he was disabled? All of a sudden, every single red pillar becomes like a professional, like tenured professor researcher. Like, hold on, well, that number is highly suspect. Is this an accurate cross-sectional representative of society? Do we make sure that we control for every single relevant or mitigating factor for why the men might say that, or why the women might say that particular thing at surgery? Was the survey done in a double? We need to actually look at there's a lot of psych research that says you can prime questions in a survey. Like, all of a sudden, they know everything there is to know about research. I like how now Pearl is like, well, hold on, we need to contextualize the figures that you're giving me because just one number is not enough. Why was it enough when you were giving all of the stats earlier that supported your argument? Like, where was the context for your women fuck felons more than whatever? And then when Ethan asked you directly, Ethan said, why do women fuck felons more? She's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe they like bad boys. Shit.
So
we could justify this by saying
women work less hours.
No, but they work less hours.
That's what I'm asking.
This is controlled. They're working the same hours. They have the same qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, well then maybe they are in that field. I don't know.
Okay, so the way
your source on neurosurgeons is a bullshit AI generated careers page. Oh wait, was it? Oh, Zippia. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, okay. This is more in line with my priors. Jeez, okay. I thought I was totally wrong. This says that, this is in 2019. Women represent only 12% of neurosurgeons in the US and Canada. When gender is further analyzed by academic appointment, women represent just over 12% of neurosurgeons at the assistant and associate. Okay. But significantly less than full professor. Okay, gotcha. 7% of neurosurgeons are women. Or I'm sorry, around 12%. I don't know. Some guy in chat says 7%. Okay. That was just a bullshit page we saw earlier. Jesus.
Gap is more complicated, perhaps, than saying it's a myth.
It's possible.
Okay.
It's possible.
Oh, there we go. Nice job, Ethan. Ethan is killing it. It's so hot in here. I don't know why. Hold on. Did anybody else have this thing? I don't know if this is like a super poor person thing or if it was just like a Cuban Hialeah thing. Did anybody have a thing where in this row of like connected homes that my grandma used to live in, every house you had like you had your living room, couches and shit. You'd have like a closet, bathroom. There would be one room in a house that the door was always closed and the AC was like always running at full blast. But it was only one room in the house. Usually it was like bedroom or whatever, and nobody was allowed to open the door or go in, and you all had to sit out in the main room where the AC was not allowed to run. Did anybody ever have this setup? Was this like anybody else? This is when, I don't even know if my grandma had an air unit. I think there was an air unit here for the main apartment, but they never turned it on. You weren't allowed to turn it on ever. But then they would just have like the one air conditioned room, and nobody was allowed in there. You mean central air? No central air in these apartments. There was just window units. What's the point? The point is if grandma wanted to go in the air-conditioned bedroom, she could go hang out in there. But if all the kids were running in and out or doing shit like that, all the air would get out. The surgeons thing was also false. Oh, in North America, a survey of surgeons carried out showed 20.3% of surgeons were female. Gotcha. Okay, that was more in line with my priors. Oof, okay. I thought I was like super off in my head there from my assumptions there. Jesus, but all right.
That's nice to hear. So I would recommend though when you go out and do these shows and stuff, because when you talk about the wage gap, you're very adamant about it. Like, oh, this is a myth, and this is why, and you extract a lot of meaning from it. So I would recommend potentially approaching that topic with a little more nuance in the future.
Ooh.
Especially if you're saying, well, yeah, maybe I'm wrong about this. But here's an excerpt so we can kind of see how you talk about these issues here.
I think in 2022, any girl that and I'm not talking about race because that's the first thing people always bring in. I'm talking about female to male. I think in 2022, if you're complaining about the pay gap as a woman, you're probably just lazy. I have never had a problem with the same pay as a guy. One issue is that women.
No. So you kind of agree that women who complain about pay are just lazy?
Yeah, the majority of the women complaining about this stuff.
Yeah, the majority of women. What do you mean majority of women?
Oh gosh, the majority of the women complaining about this
Based
stuff.
on what? Majority
are just
of women?
whiners. Just what I see, whiners,
What
big
you see?
whiners. Yeah, I mean, because women, it's like, go.
You're arguing from emotion again.
All right, okay. Is that what you're gonna say every time you don't agree with me?
Oh no, you literally are just saying stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not that I disagree. I'm just saying if we want to have a conversation about this stuff, it'd be better if we don't argue from emotion and say I feel that all women are complainers. Because that's not a productive point, right? You see what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I still think that most women that complain about the pay gap are just whiners. They're big whiners. And I have never had trouble getting a job. I've never had...
You know what? Here's the thing that I would say. I would say, you know what, Pearl? You're probably right. Most women that do complain about the pay gap are probably whiners. You know what else I would say? Most men that complain about divorce court are also probably losers, because that's life. Most people that complain are losers. That's not unique to women. That's not unique to men. That's not unique to anything. Most complainers are losers, okay? The only difference is that Pearl will side with every male complainer and say all of their complaints are legitimate. They can air their grievances. They have good reason to complain. She'll grant all of that, but when women are complaining about anything, she'll say it's unjustified.
Trouble getting the same pay as a guy, and I think that in 2023 it's just a bunch of excuses.
So what's your experience in the work? You use your own experience as an example of why women pay gap doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm not blind.
Well, hold on. What's your experience in the workforce?
I always had a job from like after high school in the summers.
Working
and I worked in corporate America, and then I did.
Corporate America? Does that mean that you got a job working for mom and dad? Because I'm pretty sure her mom and dad are loaded, and I'm curious if her work experience, she didn't tell me personally, so I'm not revealing anything, but I'm curious if her work experience, when she says worked in corporate America, does that mean that mom and dad let her work at their company? God, I hope Ethan knows that she's from a rich family.
How long did you work in corporate America?
A couple years.
A couple years?
I'm only 26.
Right, you're only 26, and therefore I wouldn't put you in and you have maybe 1 or 2 years working in corporate America. Do you think that your experience is ample to say?
Oh, he should have asked her. He should have asked her. Fuck, he doesn't know about her background.
That's disingenuous based on 1 year or 2 years, and you're only 26 years old.
Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Right. Okay. Okay, but I think we've established a little bit, at least you've conceded a tiny bit to me, that the wage gap is perhaps more complicated than yes or no.
If what you're showing me is real, you did this to someone else, but then there's like something else to it. But if what you're showing me is true.
Yeah, it's all true. This is all story.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, you could easily look this up yourself.
All right, can I see the parameters for the control? I'm just curious.
Sure.
The parameters for the
you can pull up the
control?
Department of Labor one.
The doctor one, I see.
Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? She's doing the thing. Bro, come on. Bro, give me a break. Come on. Is she watching my stream right now? She's like, I actually looked at this and the regression is actually really weak. Like an R squared of 0.2, like, would you really accept this type of data in anything beyond sociological analysis? Like, come on, dude.
Oh, wait, we've long since moved past, but I did find that study in the Rolotoni video, the Swedish study from several years ago about Swedish prison system. I'm not sure. We can loop back to that.
Wait, what was it? I'm unfamiliar.
Here, I have a bunch of tabs open. Where did it go? In the meantime, here, I'll send this in the Zoom chat if you want to take a look.
Oh, can you open it? Because I don't.
Oh, did she look down before she said that?
I guess
she looked at her phone when she asked. Oh, Rolo gave it to her. Okay.
2019 study. There's a couple more. I guess we didn't.
I'm curious. What do you think it is? The wage gap?
Well, it's complicated, right? I don't think it's as simple as saying it's a myth and women who complain are lazy. That doesn't seem like a productive point to start that conversation. It is complicated.
What is your solution? Like, if you seem to think that the wage gap is real, right? And that do you think women are discriminated against?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Like what barriers do women have today in 2023? Like,
what's
I genuinely
the law?
don't
Barriers, right?
What's the law?
It's not about barriers. It's about norms. It's about like patriarchy. It's about the way that we perceive the value of people. It's not about barriers. There's no laws that say women can't do this and that.
Nice
obviously.
job, Ethan. Good job.
Okay, so there's no barriers right now?
No, not that I could think of.
Okay,
Pay transparency.
okay.
So, I mean, I agree that in general,
Because
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I do think that there's a bit of discrimination going on. I do think that behind closed doors, when there's no transparency in payment, this presupposition, by the way, that you're putting forward, that women are lazy and just making excuses, that doesn't help. That honestly, it's I don't know how to explain it, but I know it exists, right? I know it exists.
So you think the bosses behind closed doors say we should hire less women?
No, it's not a conscious thing, right? It's systemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then do you have it? Like, do you subconsciously pay women less?
Oh my God. Good job,
I don't think so,
Ethan.
no.
Okay. So
Yeah.
then wouldn't... Okay.
So because I don't pay women less, then
I'm just thinking if you think there's this like subconscious thing,
yeah.
like then you...
Well, it does exist, right? I mean, we can look at the
should the women ask for raises at your...
Well, we're talking about you saying it's a myth, okay?
Yeah.
But it does exist. That's what's interesting.
I don't think there's anything stopping you today. You can maybe argue... I can't even do it in my soul. You can maybe argue like 50 years ago, but I just think in 2023, there are no barriers.
Did you say earlier 50 years ago wasn't that long ago? In regards to the draft?
Okay, fine, 100 years ago.
100 years ago.
I'm saying in the past you could argue, but in 2023, I just don't think there's anything stopping you. I think it's like very much a victim mindset to tell women, like to go out telling us that we're oppressed. Like, I think that I can do anything, minus like the physical stuff, but I think I can apply for any job a guy can if I want. I can go after any job that I want. I can ask for more money if I want. And I don't think that men are out there discriminating against women. I don't think that men are, men are such capitalists. Men want to make money. It's like if women were so much cheaper, they would just hire all women.
Right, that's not how it works, but I've never claimed that.
Pearl is actually probably more right here than she realizes because she's fucking retarded. But I think that a lot of the quote-unquote sexist stuff that people are worried about is, I think it's largely not as big a problem today in 2023. If you've got the qualifications, if you can get hired in some places, they're probably going to hire you. I doubt. There's probably going to be some industries where it's a little bit worse than others, but a lot of the barriers you're facing at this point are going to be like very subtly culturally driven. It's not going to be like this over, like I don't want to hire somebody or I want to pay somebody less because they're a woman.
To have a solution, right? I'm just saying there is a problem.
I'd also say, I grew up in a family business too. So my dad hired people all the time. Like,
there
he had over 200 employees.
Wasn't your mom the president? Was she the leader of the company?
What was you're researching my family now, huh?
Oh, that's all public.
No, my mom, I mean, I don't know what they titled it. Like, I don't
Your mom was the president, I believe. But
yeah, I mean, they might have titled it one thing or another. My mom did more of the marketing sales side. My dad did the engineering, the software.
Okay.
I think they wanted to get some grant. So I think like they might have had her, like, they did that to get some grant from the government or something. I don't remember. But.
So, is that a crime?
Yeah, you probably shouldn't say that on here.
We can cut that out.
Might not like that.
So I guess, again, we're kind of hitting a wall on this topic. But what I would say is this, is that I don't claim to have a solution. I'm rebutting your claim that the pay gap is a myth. Because it's not a myth, it exists. I don't know how to fix it. I'm just saying it's
good
not a myth.
refocus by Ethan.
That's an oversimplification, and it's dishonest.
Yeah, I just don't. I think most of the pay gap you can attribute, and you even agreed to this, the 77 cents to 3%, like, is very different. I think the majority of the pay gap
3%.
you can.
Oh, you mean the uncontrolled?
Yeah,
it's more than 3%, but I agree that it's lower. Yeah, it's a lot lower.
And even with that, like, I just would guess there's more to it because I just don't see.
Is there anything else you want to guess?
I don't think that men have this evil. I think it's silly. It's silly to think that men have this evil coalition where they just unconsciously discriminate against women.
I agree. That's not what's happening. That's the oversimplification part. Speaking of coalitions, what do you think about the Jews? I'm just kidding.
I don't have any.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's not a serious question. Let's talk about some of your really interesting ideas on this one here. You say men want younger women. This is something I've heard you say quite a few times here. I'll play this clip to set it up.
That will get me at 40 years old, at 50 years old. It's in a different version than he had when I was 18, 20 years old.
But it's a less about.
Oh man, if you really want to unleash Pearl, somebody needs to teach her. I'll get Pearl a free tip. If somebody really wants to unleash her about sexism in the workplace and shit, she needs to learn about ESG because nobody understands anything about finance, investing, or corporations. ESG is the easiest thing to conspiracy about. Oh, didn't you know ESG means that women are getting hired and minorities are getting hired way more than men are? There's actually reverse discrimination. Somebody just needs to teach her that fucking cheat code, and then she can like bullshit her way through half these fucking arguments about reverse sexism and stuff.
Valuable version to men.
No, not the right man for me because
it's not the right man for you. It's how men men can't help what they're attracted to. No, it is all men. They can't. If you survey men between the ages of 20 and 80, they're all the most attracted to 22-year-old. I peaked 3 years ago, and you guys did too. At 22, 23, and this is men between the age of 20 and 80. So what men value is purity, youth, and fertility. And so like, what would you be able to offer to a guy?
So that's something I've heard you say. Obviously, you strongly believe that, right? That women who are past the age of 22, their value goes down, and all men just want young girls. So I guess what's the message behind this? Who are you speaking to, and what is it that?
I mean, it's just true. Men do want younger women.
Well, right. I want to ask you this before we get into that. What is your message? Who are you speaking to, and what is it you're hoping that they take from this?
I wonder how she would feel if there was a woman on a show being like, women just want taller guys with 8-inch dicks that all earn $250K a year. Like, if she heard some, like, blue pill woman saying some shit like that, or some feminist saying something like that, do you think she'd be like, yeah, that's true, that's facts? Or do you think she'd be like, well, that's not fair that they can talk about that? Like, then women are shorting themselves. Like, women are missing out on tons of good men by blah, 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 blah. I wonder what she would say there.
I mean, I just believe in speaking about things that are true. And I think a lot of times as women, we're told that we can just wait forever, get married at 35, and have a bunch of kids, and that's just not true.
Who's saying that?
I just think it's the message that's pushed by the media and culture today. So
the media is telling women to get married at 35?
I mean, have you ever seen, like, what's a homemaker that's on TV?
You mean like in a sitcom, or you mean like in a?
No. But I'm saying, like, we don't have them in the media and the culture. Like, family really isn't pushed. And so I'm not saying it to dog on women, but I just think a lot of times, like, we're lied to. I mean, we have men are called ageist. If they don't want younger women. Men are constantly shamed when they have a standard. So it's not. I mean, that's like a conversation from a 3-hour episode. I don't remember the context.
I've heard you bring it up a lot. I know.
Yeah, because it's true. And a lot of times with women,
you're speaking to women. You're saying past 22, your value's going down. And,
yes,
and your message,
your value on the sexual marketplace. So your value, like, that doesn't mean like your personal worth. I'd like to just clarify that, but yeah.
And so your message to them is nothing.
Okay, dude.
Because it's true. I mean,
don't wait till 35 to get married. Get married as young as you can.
Right,
as young as you can.
Yeah. Now you seem to
she
offer a lot of advice.
She says at 26 years old without a boyfriend.
I wouldn't really. Okay. I wouldn't really. I guess sure.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think I've heard you say that even. And then so men.
Like, I wouldn't say I'm like an advice channel, like do this. I mean, it's more talking about the state of relationships today is a better way that I would put it.
So as men get older, not like super old, but their value goes up. And as a man's value on the sexual marketplace goes up, they're looking for younger virgins, right? That's important. And so any woman who's not...
Well, historically, virginity has always been a prerequisite for marriage. Like 100 years ago, 85% of women didn't admit to premarital sex. So, it's more abnormal now that women are not virgins anymore.
Do you know what an appeal to a tradition is? What we did 100 years ago doesn't predict anything.
Well, I'm saying the outcomes are better for women. Like the outcomes are obviously better. We have more women on antidepressants than ever before, and it's tough because there are studies both ways when it comes to female happiness. But most of the ones that I've seen indicate that women are unhappy over a certain age without children. That most women wanted to have kids at some point in their life. And I just think, and you can see what happens in front of you. Like you're not blind. Women are happier with a family.
Again, you're doing the I'm not blind. I see this, which is like again kind of an emotional argument. Antidepressants didn't exist.
You just call me emotional today. That's just your go-to today.
Well, it's hard to have a conversation with somebody.
The sexism I face in this country, I just get called emotional.
Right. Well, it's hard to have a conversation with somebody who just says, I feel this. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you address that in a conversation? You say, I see this. I'm not blind. That's not really a concrete.
Well, I listed before that.
Let's talk about those. Antidepressants didn't exist 100 years ago. What relevance does that have on the happiness of women then and now?
I mean, we're seeing them get more and more on antidepressants.
Well, men are on antidepressants too. I think
we're not talking about men.
But if men and women are getting on antidepressants at the same rate,
why can't we have a conversation about women without talking about the men?
It's always got to be about men.
It's like 90%. I can't answer questions if you keep interrupting me when I'm trying to answer you.
Go ahead.
So it's like 90% of women are on contraceptive or have been on contraceptives at some point in their life. One out of 4 women have an STD. 1 out of 3 women has had an abortion. It's like these aren't good numbers. Like, do you genuinely think that sleeping around is good for women?
I don't think, in my opinion, mass sleeping around, like you're talking like 100 plus partners, isn't good for men or women.
Okay, do you think sleeping with multiple partners is good?
I think it's completely fine. I don't think there's an issue with women.
Do you think it's good for them? Do you think it's good for
I think it depends on the person and the relationships. I mean, the premise is neutral. The premise doesn't imply, men and women have good and bad relationships. Some benefit them, some don't.
True.
Overall, multiple partners. You would say good for women or bad for women?
I literally cannot answer that question because it makes no sense. It depends on the relationships. But let's say this. I'll answer. I'll say I think it's good to get more experiences in life and to have multiple partners. I think it's good.
Yeah, I think it's not good.
Why?
So. I think because it leads to more heartbreak.
Heartbreak?
Yeah, like women sleeping with multiple people. I don't think that's a good thing.
You can get heartbroken without sleeping with someone.
Yeah, but
true.
That's true, but I just don't think it's the same. Women attach through sex.
I think it's not the same. Men attach through sex too, by the way.
Yeah, but we're not talking about men. I'm talking about women. I don't think sleeping around is great for men either, but I don't think it's the same for men and for women.
Hold on, you keep saying let's talk about women, and I just want to say, if there is a communal experience, then it's worth bringing up. Like you say, more women are antidepressants, but if men are on antidepressants in the same trajectory, then that would imply that it doesn't have to do with anything to do with women being promiscuous. It's more of a societal thing that affects both genders equally.
Yeah. Wait, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
I just don't.
If men and women are both
on
antidepressants at the same rate.
I just think it's bad when women are fucking a lot of people.
On a larger societal issue,
do that. I just think do it.
That is worth.
Well, I mean, you could argue a lot of societal issues have come from women being promiscuous.
Okay.
So I mean, you could if 85% of women were virgins 100 years ago and everyone's on antidepressants, maybe
was society perfect 100 years ago?
Maybe it doesn't have good outcomes for women.
Society was perfect 100 years ago when women were virgins?
I didn't say perfect, but there was more intact families.
The life expectancy was like 50 back then.
I did not say. I don't know what does that have to do with anything.
Well, you're saying the quality of life. Things were better back then.
I said we had more intact families, which I think is important.
Okay. Let's talk about where were we? We were talking about.
Oh man, Pearl's getting
the topic of men wanting younger women. Here, did I finish this list?
A lot from them, so I'd love to hear this side.
Oh, this is the pay gap one. Sorry. Men want younger women. We watched this whole clip. So, I was just trying to basically apply it to your life if I can. It's like, so older men, when they have money, they have status, they're going to want a younger and more virgin woman. Mm-hmm. So I have a bit of a question, and I'm being honest here.
Uh-oh.
Is it possible and you look at men, right, in terms of like their viability. You look at men and say, he's a high value man, he's a medium value man, he's a low value man, right? I mean, we could say that. We can put men into those categories. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's say you're in the dating field.
Do you have any intuition on why people are less happy? I think someone is more isolationist community. I've always said, and I'm going to keep harping on this forever and ever and ever, I always go back to the 4 pillars of Destiny Islam, okay? It is Islamstiny. Diet. Our diets are completely fucked. Very high in carbs, very high in sugars, not a good balance of micronutrients. Sleep. I think a lot of people's sleep is probably more fucked than we even realize. It wouldn't surprise me if less than 20% of Americans were getting good sleep. That means 8 hours of sleep a night, uninterrupted. So diet, sleep, exercise, like at least like 30 to 60 minutes of some kind of movement per day. It could be a walk, it could be whatever. It wouldn't surprise me if less than 20% of Americans were getting that. And some real amount of socialization, meaning at least like once a week, some face-to-face time with friends or even family members where you're like laughing and having fun and enjoying yourself, right? I think that when those things, the more out of whack those things are, the more out of whack your mental health probably will be. I think for a lot of Americans, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of Americans had issues. Like I bet 30 to 50% of Americans probably have issues with all 4 of those. That'd be my guess.
Right, you're looking for a partner, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, you're single essentially, I guess, and you're looking for a significant.
Maybe not.
Okay. So, if you're looking for men, if a man who is willing to settle, let's say you're not that old, but you're 26, and you say that anyone over 25 is like almost damaged goods or getting worse and worse.
No.
It's less valuable. It's less valuable.
Correct.
Plus, she's had sex with multiple partners. I think, hasn't she said that? She's had multiple boyfriends too, Ethan.
So yes, I would say I was more valuable 5 years ago. Yes, in terms of the dating market. Yes.
So do you think that, how can somebody who's older and not a virgin and less valuable, how can they get in a relationship with a man and not think they're a loser? Because if you're a low value woman, then in a sense, you'd be judging the guy who's quote unquote settling for you because he couldn't get a higher value woman. So in a sense, a guy that you would settle for would be a loser by your own metrics. Low value.
Well, what are men supposed to do? 95% of women aren't virgins on their wedding days. You could be a multi-millionaire and not get a virgin.
How do you?
I think that's why you see more men walking away from relationships.
No. How do you enter a relationship and not think that he's...
Hold on. If you're a multi-millionaire guy, you can absolutely get a virgin. What a stupid thing to say. I could find a virgin if I wanted to. The reality is that most men that are really successful aren't obsessing over virgins. Even the red pillars that say they obsess over virgins don't obsess over virgins. That MLD guy, the Justin Walker guy, Fresh and Fit, all of these guys are girls that have big Instagrams, that are OnlyFans girls, that are strippers, that are dancers. None of these people obsess over virgins. That is not true. They go on their shows and they talk about it. These guys aren't dating virgins. These guys aren't wifed up with fucking virgins. These guys aren't courting virgins all the time. That's not true. So no, you can find a virgin if you're a millionaire. Just start talking to 19, 20-year-olds. You can find them. They're out there. There's a surprising amount of girls that are still virgin at like 18, 19, 20. Now, you're not going to find them on fucking Instagram or OnlyFans, but there's a surprising amount of girls that are. But the reality is that most like super wealthy guys aren't looking for someone who's just a virgin.
He's a loser because he's low value.
I don't really know how to answer that question.
But it is interesting, right? Because in a sense, only a low value man, and I'm sorry, I'm only framing this in your worldview. Let's say
if Ethan wanted to go, if he wanted to be excruciatingly hard, he would say that Pearl would have even more problems potentially because one of her exes was black too, which is a lot of the things these red pillars obsess over as well in terms of like the races of like people you've dated and everything. I don't know how much Ethan knows about her about her past life or whatever, but
a medium value man would decide to settle on somebody like you who's a little bit older, not as fertile. You are not a virgin, and also I'll tell you something else. You like being in the foreground, which is not good for traditional marriages.
True.
I mean, he's looking for someone who wants to build a home. You don't know how to cook.
Yeah,
either.
I don't expect to be with like a high value guy. I think that's silly.
Okay. What's your
like when I think of high value, I think of like top 5% of men.
So what value?
She doesn't think she could be with top 5% of men? She's like a multi-millionaire. Her family is like loaded. She's not settling down with an average guy. I like how she's so committed to this red pill shit. She doesn't even realize like her own value. Like, bro, you're probably, I don't know if she's a millionaire yet. She might be because of inherited family wealth. But like, bro, you're one of the most successful women at your age internationally, and you think you're gonna settle down with a 95th percentile guy? You can absolutely land a 98th, 99th percentile guy. Like, she's reasonably attractive, she's really successful, she comes from a really good background, but she has no real world experience. Like, does she think she's gonna go settle down with some random dude, some random guy working a white collar job making $75K a year or whatever? Like, what she's so bizarrely like mind fucked on this red pill shit. She doesn't even know her own fucking value.
Do you think you'll be settling on in your own personal life?
What value will I be settling on in my personal
what man do you think is reasonable for you to pursue?
I just kind of, I think that's a bit of a inappropriate like question. But
That's interesting because you spend.
Everybody in chat that's saying she's not remotely attractive is self-reporting so fucking hard because you have no idea what an actual woman even looks like. She puts zero effort into makeup. She puts almost no effort into how she dresses or her hair. She's completely fine. And not to mention that, if she approached you on the street, 95% of you virgin fucks in chat saying, oh, she's not ugly, would be on your fucking knees, be like, yes, queen, I'd love to go on a date with you, even if you didn't even know who the fuck she was. She looks fine. She doesn't have any deformities. Her teeth aren't fucked up at all. She completely looks fine. You guys are fucking, you're wilding out. If you're like, oh, she's not attractive at all. Fuck out of here.
Like all day talking about this stuff. I find that it's really interesting to have you and put this analysis into use. Why is it?
Because the way you're framing
the absolute worst case you could say is she's average looking. If you want to do it.
framing the question is a bit disingenuous. I think most women, and
how is it disingenuous?
Yeah, I think it's a bit disingenuous.
Why? Why? Why is it disingenuous? I'm analyzing your viability by your own metrics, which you do all day to other women and men.
True.
Why is that disingenuous?
I don't.
She's like, she was gonna say I don't do that, but she does.
Like, I think it's fair to say, because we're talking to women about expectations and men about expectations based on their value. I think it's fair to say, okay, well, what's your value of man you're looking for based on your own?
What's my value to a guy that I'm looking for?
What value of man?
I wish I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I wish I was a virgin. You know, I should have waited.
No.
Like, I don't know what. Like, I don't. You know, most guys don't expect that in 2023. Unfortunately, I think men adapt to the market, but I think to say that you should just sleep around is a bit silly.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking.
Well, that you were saying that like that more partners is good. I think that's a bit silly.
Okay,
I think it's silly to say like that.
I'm talking about you. Your value by your own metrics is going to be not super high. So,
yeah, it's less high than it was 5 years ago.
But it's not even just the age thing. It's like you are working. You're in the foreground. You don't know how to cook. These are not good things for your story.
Hey, I'm actually pretty good now. I've gotten.
You have a
lot better.
Okay, good. You're working towards it, but unfortunately, as you age, those things are going to bounce out.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like you start in a certain place in life, but all you can do is improve and get better.
That's interesting.
Oh, now she takes the very liberal view of like, well, listen, everybody's on their own journey. Everybody can do their thing. I thought we were being realistic before. I thought we were being brutally honest. I thought we were telling people the things they didn't want to hear. But now it's like, well, let's meet people where they are. Let's see, everybody's on their journey, blah, blah, blah. I think Ethan's about to say this, maybe. Let's see.
I agree. So what is the point of telling people that they're...
Because a lot of times we're lied to. We're not even told what men want. Being told that men want younger women is like crazy, even though that's
not true, by the way. That's not true, by the way.
Men don't want younger women. They want, okay, who's hotter? A 50-year-old is equally as hot as a 20-year-old, just based on looks and nothing else.
So, yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be.
If he wants, because people love using celebrity examples so much, even though they tell you not to use the exception. How do they explain Bezos? Didn't Bezos just get married, or is getting married to like a 54-year-old woman? You don't think Jeff Bezos couldn't find a fucking 20-year-old virgin? This guy could probably buy 20-year-old virgins, okay? If Epstein could fuck kids, I'm pretty sure Bezos could fucking find a 20-year-old fucking virgin, okay?
But like, how do you meet a guy that you respect because he's settling on you? Don't you see that there's a paradox here?
I mean, if you respect men, you don't like.
What?
But how are you going to settle for a low value man? It's like that. It's like, dude, come on.
A low value man.
A low value man.
I think if you get married, you're lucky to get married. So I would feel very lucky. If I was married, I would feel.
So you'll take anything.
No, I won't take anything. It's a bit silly.
Your standards are quite low.
That's not what I said, but okay.
I said I'll be happy if I get married. I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
anybody marries me would be great.
I didn't say to anyone.
How would you? So, where's your value as a woman? Would you say, like, on a scale of 1 to 10?
I give myself like a 5.
A 5? Yeah, that's fair. I think. I mean, based on your metric, I'm not saying one way or the other. So we're looking for.
I think I'm a 5. So
you're saying that all men want to have sex with younger women. This is kind of interesting data, but are you aware that the MILF category is like the most popular? It was the #1 most searched term in 2018. MILF.
Yeah, men like to have sex with older women.
But why is it the most searched for?
Oh my god!
They're looking for MILF.
Oh my god! Oh, Ethan is just fucking brutalizing her. Oh no!
And when they watch porn,
are you saying porn is the same thing as marriage and relationships?
Now would Ethan, if Ethan wanted to fucking hammer it home, he does. I bet he doesn't know this number. God, I wish he did. He should ask her, Pearl, what do you think the average age gap is in a relationship? Wait for her to say like, I don't know, 10, 15 years? Because the answer is like 2 to 3 years is like the average gap.
You say men want to have sex with young girls. Why then are men when
younger women? When you say young girls, it's a bit.
Okay, 22. I mean, what do you want me to say? Okay, young women, 22-year-olds. Why then are they going to Pornhub and looking up MILFs if they just want to, if they prefer? And this is the most searched. Wouldn't they be searching for like teen or something? 2018, yeah.
You know, men aren't that picky. You know what I mean? No,
it's not about picky. It's about preference.
They can pick whatever they want. It's porn.
Why do you think like the #1 like they swipe right on younger women?
That's
do you think it's equal? An 18 or 22-year-old versus a 50-year-old woman in terms of looks? No, I'm asking, do you think it's equal? Are you equally attracted to the average 55-year-old versus 22-year-old?
I would be more equally attracted to someone closer to my age where I am in life, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I would
Maybe
say,
like minus 5 years.
Yeah, when she says who gets swiped more on, 20-year-old girls versus 50-year-old girls, well, what's the average age of a swiper on Tinder? Because if the average age of a person on Tinder is like 24, wouldn't you expect them to swipe more on people around their age? I'm curious. Average age of Tinder user. So 60% of Tinder users are 18 to 34, right? 35%, a plurality of the user base is 18 to 24. So that's not even that surprising then that younger people would be getting more swipes. That's about exactly what you would expect to see, right?
Yeah, but younger typically. Not older.
Well, I mean,
It's
plus or
interesting
minus
that you
5
said
years.
that. Younger.
Plus or
Yeah,
minus.
younger. Right.
Plus or minus 5
Okay,
years.
you said younger first, but
I'm telling you, plus or minus.
okay.
There's no take backsies. No take backs.
No,
You said younger. Yeah, but so how do you explain that?
Most women want to date 5 to 7 years older. I think men.
5 to 7 years old. Okay, ask her for the stats on that. Oh, because this is an easy one. What is the average age? What is the average gap in a relationship? Average age gap.
Go like 5 years younger.
Is there any way to explain why MILF is the most searched category?
Guys like to watch, a hot mom have sex. Yeah.
More than a young girl have sex, apparently.
Are they the top porn stars? Because I thought those were younger women. I thought it was like the ones that, I don't actually watch that stuff, so I don't know.
I don't know the stats, but I'm just telling you based on search that people are looking up MILF way more than teen and stuff like that. So that is interesting, though.
Do you think it's better for a woman to get married at 35 than 22?
I think it's neutral. I think it depends on a lot of things. I do think women who get married young have a higher rate of divorce.
Yeah, it's like below the age of like 21 or 18 or something. I don't remember.
So that kind of disproves your thesis, doesn't it? If younger women are getting divorced,
I'd say overall younger is better than older.
But if younger women are getting divorced more, and you're
the youngest, not younger. But we also wait to get married. The average age of first marriage in the UK is like 31.
Yeah, but our life expectancy is like double what it was, so it's not really a fair comparison.
It doesn't change biology. Like, so when it comes to children, like women are still the most fertile when they're younger. So, we can have a cultural shift, but it doesn't change your biology.
Well, we have a scientific shift too. We have methods of making it easier for older women to have babies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like the cultural shift is matching the scientific. IVF, it's not just IVF. There's fertility treatments you can get. I've done it with my wife. It's less invasive. It's like taking hormones and stuff. And the science.
I can pull up the numbers, but the majority of IVF fails, especially over a certain age. I can pull it up. So I think it's expensive too. It's like the average IVF is like $30,000.
Yeah, most fertility treatments isn't IVF. There's less invasive, less impactful, less expensive things that you can do that are really effective.
Right. You can, but again, most people are living paycheck to paycheck. They can't afford a bunch of fertility treatments.
Okay.
Like, I think that's easy for you to do, right? You're in a great position in life. It should be free,
average.
But no, I don't think that you should pay for other people's decisions. I think if you want to make that decision, you should pay for it. But I just think that's an easy thing for you to say when you're in you do such great numbers. I'm sure you do really well income wise.
Thank you for saying that. We shouldn't pay for what other people do. Should we pay for prisoners or should we execute them all?
Those are my only options?
Well, we shouldn't pay for...
Either pay for prison or execute them?
Okay, right, that's extreme. In a sense, though, I'm trying to make it like a somewhat...
That's a tough question.
Well, prisoners cost, on average, like $30,000 a year for the average prisoner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or even more now, probably like 40,
more. I think it's like close to 70,000 or something like that.
70,000?
Let me look it up. I'll look it up. So
that's crazy, because the IVF is obviously way cheaper than that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do about them?
To execute or put them in...
Or what else? What would you do with prisoners? We're spending $45,000 a year. What do we do with them?
Yeah, the average is, it looks like 45,000.
45,000? IVF probably costs like 10,000.
What are they in prison for? I don't know much about. It's kind of a different, topic. But I do think we should execute.
Well, they're all costing us the same amount of money.
Rapists we can execute, and murderers. Yeah, we can. The rest, I don't really know. I don't have a strong opinion.
Well,
but
IVF,
in general, but I guess prison would make a bit more sense because you want a safe society. So that's something everybody benefits from. But I don't benefit if Susie down the streets waits till she's 35 to get married.
But then her family will be stronger. She's less likely to get divorced. The kids will grow up in a stable household.
Or she could do that when she's younger. Like, again,
but that's not how it works, and you know that. You look at the stats. Younger people are more likely to get divorced. Young people don't make as much money. Younger people have less time to spend.
What do you mean by young? So, I think the stat I saw was under the age of 21. But it's like above that, the divorce rate's very similar.
Do you think women under 21 should get married?
Yeah.
If they want to.
Oh, come on.
People, I'm not forcing anyone to do anything, but I think more time you can spend with a husband rather than just like out on the dating market, I think that's better. I think less experience is better.
So here's an interesting analysis regarding men wanting to sleep with younger women.
The top.
So I've been trying to source that figure.
How old is Abella Danger? How old is she?
How old is Abba?
She's
She's 27. That's pretty old in your world, isn't it?
Lana Rhodes, Riley Reid. Yeah, but that's not a MILF.
No.
I think, and for us, it's like 18 to 28.
Lana Rhodes is
26.
26. Yeah.
Yeah,
But again, the most searched.
It's 18 to 28.
Just because they're the most popular doesn't mean it's the most popular category.
Also, their 26 is over the hill, right?
I got the top categories I have is ebony, lesbian, threesome.
I don't see any 22-year-old head large
Rolo sending her more stuff.
22 versus 26. It's not that. Like we say 18 and 28 is a woman's peak.
20. What is the woman's peak?
Between 18 and 28. I mean, 28. It slowly declines after like 22 or 23. It slowly declines, but 18 to 28 is woman's peak.
Peak as in what? What does peak mean?
Peak like looks-wise.
Okay, looks-wise. So I've been trying this claim that men between ages 20 and 80 want to have sex with 22-year-olds. I haven't been able to find any source for that. The only source I've been able to find is from this book.
Can we put the prisoners to work?
Say what?
Can we put the prisoners to work?
They already do. Yeah, they do.
Exactly
They're slaves already. They work for like 10 cents an hour.
Yeah, but only...
To profit private corporations, by the way. It doesn't benefit you at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a good system.
You seem very knowledgeable in the prison system. I wouldn't call myself a prison expert.
Yeah, and that's fair. We don't need to, I don't expect you to be. So in terms of sourcing, this claim that old men want to have sex with, not old men, all men want to have sex with 22-year-olds around that age. The only source for that I could find.
So they find that the most attractive.
The only source for that I could find was a book called.
Can you look up what's the okay, yeah.
The way that these numbers are sourced is pretty poor. So it's not really that high quality of a source. But I'll read you the results. It does say that men 20 to 50 find 23-year-olds most attractive. But in the same study, it says, but women that men find they're most interested in are women of their similar age.
Ooh.
But they found the 23-year-olds the most attractive.
But not the most.
How did they source interested in and desirable?
This is one of the big limitations of a lot of this research that I grilled and destroyed Rolo and Michael on, was this idea that you can do this single variate analysis, this monovariate analysis. I don't know if that's a real phrase or not, but it should be. Okay? Well, you can look at one thing and go, oh, women prefer this thing, therefore, all of their dating preferences revolve around that. That is not true. Just because somebody might find a 22-year-old more attractive doesn't necessarily mean they would want to date a 22-year-old. That is not true. Oh, univariate. Fuck! But yeah, they're because people will find research where you can say like, oh, like, who do you find more attractive? A guy that's 6'8" or a guy that's like 5'8" or whatever, right? Like women might women might, for some reason, say that they find one particular trait more attractive, but they gravitate towards other people with another trait because that might correlate or map onto other things as well. That's why it's important when you do this type of research. You can't just ask, what trait do you find more attractive? And then go, oh, well, the woman will obviously be drawn to all of those types of people. You have to see what the dating preferences actually match up to in real life. That's the important part. Do you think Sneeko is a good person? Yes or no? I think Sneeko is a growing person. He's growing. he's got a fertile mind. Many seeds are being planted. We'll see what shows up there in 5 years.
I think
did they just ask them?
The whole study.
It wasn't even really a study. This was a book. And I'm sorry if this isn't what you got your statistics from, but it was
Andrew Tate's emergency meeting counterattack stream in 10 minutes. Yeah, we'll watch it, I guess. Yeah.
The closest thing that we could find to the stats that you were laying out. And it did, again, it has shown that 20 to 50 men, when asked who they find the most attractive, the answers generally fall in that range, 20 to 23. However, this wasn't really a study. This was a book by the CEO of OkCupid, and he was basing all of this off of analyzing the raw data from OkCupid. And this was in 2014, so it was about a decade ago.
But they're most interested.
Right, and they found the same conclusion that Ethan just pointed out, that though they may find younger women more attractive, who they are interested in dating falls generally much closer to their own age.
But if you have a better source on that, I'd love to hear it, because we look.
Even if you look at dating app data, like what? Because it all starts with looks for men.
This is dating.
But I'm saying it starts with looks for men. You're not going to get in the door unless you look a certain way.
Yeah,
so I mean, there's some older women
that is not true. You can't simultaneously be saying that like all men are like these hopeless lost guys that are just looking for companionship, and then say like, oh well, men aren't going to give you the time of day if you're not like a 10. That is so not true. Especially for this is like something that's really irritating. Is I feel like red pillars don't understand incels, and I feel like blue pill left-leaning people don't understand incels. Like the idea that the average incel is just waiting along for this like bombshell 9 or 10 out of 10 girl to come by and be like the perfect submissive housewife and blah, blah, blah. That's not true. I think most men that grew out of their early socialization years without having female friends that now are in places in life where it's really hard to even talk to women, I think most of them would be perfectly happy if an average woman that was like decently cool wanted to start chatting and explore the possibility of a relationship. I think 95% of incels would be totally fine with that. They're not waiting for a 19-year-old virgin to stroll by guy that they can share with like 5 other 19-year-old virgins or whatever. Like, it's not like the average guy that is completely unable to access a dating market. Like, it's such a cringe fucking misunderstanding.
Sure, right? That look good enough to get into the door, but it starts with swiping, and that starts with looks. So if they find the 22-year-old's the most attractive, that's what you need to get in the door first. It's not to say that every woman over the age of 30 or 35 is like done for completely, but it's going to be a lot harder. And I think it's dishonest to say it's going to be equally as easy to date when you're 35 versus 22.
Yeah, I didn't say that. But you're saying men.
Men tend to, in general, like younger women.
But
Find younger women more attractive.
But they're not who they're
accurate
interested
to
Right,
say
but
they
it
like
starts.
you.
But everything
interested.
starts. But men, it starts with looks. So you don't get into the door
That's
unless
not
you look
even
a certain
true.
way.
It probably
I
starts
think you're
with
making a big
proximity.
generalization about all men.
Okay, do you disagree with that? You don't think it starts?
I think a
with
lot of
looks?
men have a lot of different preferences, and I think a lot of men's consideration of what attractive has a huge variance as well. So when you say good looks get you in the door, I mean attraction is pretty subjective, don't you think?
I think that it starts with looks for men.
And looks is pretty subjective,
I would
wouldn't you
say no. I would say it's not. I would say men tend to find the same things attractive.
Beauty is objective.
Based on what?
Interesting take. Okay.
Based on what?
I would say dating app data.
Which ones?
I don't know off the top of my head,
This
Ethan.
one up from OkCupid said men are most interested in men of their own age. Or sorry, women
Yeah,
of their own age.
it said women. They find women the most attractive at 22, or 23,
Yeah,
right?
but
She's
they
mad.
don't want to date.
My argument
They don't want
is
to
that
date them though.
My,
They don't want
my
to date them.
argument.
They
My
find them more
argument.
attractive.
You guys don't let me finish. Is my argument is you need looks to get in the door. So like,
What does that have to do with being
if you find
22?
that the most attractive? Men tend to find younger women more attractive.
I think you have a really
I think it's like dishonest to say. Do you really think it's equally as easy to date for a woman at 35 versus 22?
again, nobody said that.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Do you think?
Actually, don't red pillars say that is the case? That a woman at 35 could probably find a boyfriend if she really wanted to? Like, if you're a woman at 35, even at 35, assuming you're like not obese and you don't have, even with one kid, you could probably hop on Tinder and find a guy. You're not gonna have the pick of the litter, sure. But like, yeah, you could probably date if you wanted to. I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I think it's harder for the 35-year-old in general.
I think there's less options as you get older.
Yeah, of course. I think
For men
that's
too.
very
For men
intuitive.
too.
And yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for
men
both
too.
Yeah, but
partners.
do you think it's equal? Do you think men have less options equally as much as women?
As they get older,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, who fucking knows?
No, no, I'm asking your opinion.
You're asking my opinion. My
If
opinion is
women-
that it's probably similar.
if women-
Probably similar.
If women, yeah, see, I disagree because I
Based
saw a
on what?
different dating app that the most. No, I saw a different. I think it was either OkCupid or Plenty of Fish. I can't remember which one, but it was like the most swiped right on age for women was 18, and the most swiped right on age
Well,
for
that's
men
just
was
volume, dude. I mean, there's way more younger
50.
people on dating apps than older
for sure.
people.
Nice, Ethan. Who's feeding him my talking points? Who's feeding him my talking points? That is true. Good job, Ethan. True.
If you look at age
Well, I mean,
distribution,
if
it'd be
you
a
could-
vast majority of younger
Yeah,
people.
well, and when they asked men what age they prefer to date, I think it was like 5 to 7, like 5 years younger was the
Yeah, but don't ask them what they prefer to date. Ask who they actually date. Who do they actually end up dating? If you're asking people their ideals, then every man is going to want like a fucking Hollywood celebrity supermodel. If you ask women their ideals, all of them are going to want a 6-figure Kevin Samuels tier high value man. But look at how people actually match up in real life.
average in women it was 5 to 7 years older. So even if we just go off of women's preferences, like men would have more options when they get older because women want older men.
That's all you're just saying stuff. I mean, you're just saying stuff based on what you think is real. I don't think any of that is necessarily true.
I mean, I could find it. I mean, I don't have like a team like you guys have.
Yeah, but no, well, you
No,
say this
but-
stuff
What do
all
you
the time.
mean
on
you
your
don't have
show,
a
so I
team?
expect you
Who
to be
you just said
somewhat
your
familiar
team
with
was
these.
DMing you earlier?
It just depends on, like, sometimes you forget which one.
Sure.
You know,
You want to name a couple it could be from?
give me a second. I'll find it.
Did you know that the number 5 porn star of all time is Lisa Ann? She's 51 years old. Mm-hmm. Brandy Love is number 8. She's 50. Men, they like MILFs, man. Men like MILFs. They like experienced women that know what they're doing. They like men like that.
Do you think that men want that for relationships?
Do you think men want to date a child for relationships? Because they're more
I think men prefer younger women in general.
in relationships.
Yes.
That's just, I'm sorry, but that's not even backed up by your own data. It says
I
men
would
are
say
more
younger than them, typically.
younger than them. That's a different, that's not.
That's way different. That's like the difference between saying women like 6 feet men versus women like men that are taller than them. Those are worlds apart.
Men want to date 22-year-olds. A 50-year-old
They're
doesn't.
the most attracted to 22-year-olds, and looks gets you in the door.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Tate, emergency meeting started. Fuck.
How to escape the heat if you don't have an air conditioner. This only takes 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
Tired of hot?
Okay, we'll watch this after, okay?
Just
Get you in the door. That's just step one.
You're saying different things. In this culture, if a man is walking around with a 22-year-old, people are going to think that's weird. People think
Two
it's
out of
weird.
the 5. It says 2 out of the 5 top porn stars in Pornhub are 23 and under, and all of the people that you're listing started young.
So they're old now.
They're still
Yeah,
popular.
they built their fan base.
I don't think it really works that way.
But they're old. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be
How do
hot.
you not
They're
think it
old.
works that way? You guys are in media. You know damn well that you build a fan base.
Bro,
over
what do you
time.
think? They're YouTubers? They're not doing Minecraft Let's Play. They're naked.
Come on. Come on.
I don't find that analysis very interesting. Apparently, you don't either because.
Sweetie Fox, 22.
Yeah, there's
Eva,
porn stars who are 22.
Yeah, of course.
The majority are younger.
Yeah, but not the popular ones. MILF.
The most popular ones are younger. The most popular ones are younger.
They're like in late 20s, you know.
My dog's barking. 1 second.
I feel like the most popular are probably in their mid to late 20s. That'd be my guess.
Sorry. I let her outside. It's kind of hot in here.
I want to ask you.
The number one porn star is 23.
Who?
It's either, let me see, it's Eva.
Who's the number one?
Because
I just don't think it
the
really
number one porn
refutes
star
either
on
point.
Pornhub is 23.
Who?
Eva Elfie is 23.
She's not number one.
I don't even
Well,
know
that seems
who that
number
is.
one.
Who is?
But even if that's true, I don't think that refutes anything. I mean, it's possible that number one is 23. But
But you said,
she's
you
not
just
number
said
one.
it, you just said it. You just said it refuted it if that the number one search was MILFs.
Right.
Is
Well,
this
it
just
counters
like
your
most
argument.
views on
Okay, let's move on.
Pornhub?
There's just arguments in circles here. I want to talk about this a little bit more. Higher body count
They
doesn't.
said the 2018 poll, citing a 2018 poll, and the 2022 numbers show that the MILF drops.
The MILF drops, but it's
Citing a 2018 poll, and the 2022 numbers show that the MILF drops.
it's top 5 most searched. Number one in UK, Southern Asia, Canada,
Say that it
Netherlands.
was 2018.
Yeah, the 2018
But I'm
one.
saying it says the 2022 one that dropped.
Oh, so men became
You
less
spoke
interested
to
in older women in the
Eva?
last 5
No, I
years,
spoke
yes.
to Eva, the other Eva.
Well, this year,
Well,
MILF,
hold on. Oh, sorry, go ahead,
sorry.
Olivia.
MILF was number one search term this year in the UK, Southern Asia, Canada, and Netherlands.
Yeah.
And it was in
MILF.
the top 5 most searched for terms in Paris, Italy, Mexico, Spain, Poland, Ukraine, Argentina, Sweden, and Belgium this year.
And Lana Rhodes is number one, and she's 26. But whatever, who cares?
I've heard
Let's
of
move on.
Lana Rhodes.
I disagree. Listen, I disagree. There's not a lot of data on this. Like, there's really no data to make a conclusion. So again, I just don't think it's fair for when you talk about these things to say, oh, science says this, data shows this, but there's no data that shows any of that. I mean, it's just, again, you feel that way. You feel
We
that.
just talked about that men find 22-year-olds the most attractive.
She's
So
even
you can
not
interpret-
harping on this.
you can interpret the data differently than me. That's fine. Like, we can
It's not
interpret
really
the
data. That was
we
some
can- we
random
can
plot
interpret-
from
we
a
can-
book.
We can. I mean, there's also dating. apps.
Remember earlier when Pearl was like, we need context to understand this, and now she's just throwing out that one number over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Remember?
Data, and then you guys interpret
this
it
is.
differently than me. We can interpret it differently, and you could come to one conclusion. and I could come
Let's
to another,
agree.
but-
Let's
but-
agree to disagree on this one. So tell me, we didn't really get to flesh this out, but I find this topic interesting.
Oh my god.
Why is a woman with a high body count, and high, I guess, is like 10 plus? What is high?
Well, it depends. Depends what guys you ask. You know.
In your opinion?
I mean, in my opinion, I really think it's best to be a virgin when you get married. So I didn't do that. I wish I did, but I think it's best to be a virgin.
Okay, but like, what would you consider a high body count
Oh my
in
God.
general when men are looking, considering such a thing?
It seems like the body count studies that I've seen, it drops around like 5 to 7. So
5 to 7.
I'd say-
Okay, so what is inherently less desirable about a woman with 5 to 7 partners?
I mean, what value does that bring to a guy?
Well, it's neutral.
Is she gonna say trauma?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's
I asked you what devalues it, not what values it.
What devalues it? I think that you have more exes to compare your current partner to.
Oh, so it's insecurity. So you would be
If you
insecure.
want to label it that way, but it's like, why would you want someone with more exes?
5 to 7 sexual partners means that there's too much to compare me to, and therefore you might think that I'm inadequate because you've had better partners.
Well, it's also like the rate. Women are happier when they're virgins on their wedding day. So
That is just something you said.
no, look, I mean, you can look up the studies on body count. I can.
Yeah, we can fact check that. It just seems like something you just say.
It's like from the Family Institute. Something
The
Family
IFS?
Institute.
That's like the
Okay,
only
but,
thing
so
that
while we
people...
look that up, let's say what. So women are happier, but
The more sexual partners a woman has, the less happy she
But
tends
I'm
to be
asking you,
married.
what is less attractive? Because you talk about men are looking for women who have had less sexual partners. So what is less attractive? What makes them less attractive?
What makes them less sexual? Men don't want hoes. Men
Good
don't want,
one.
men
Nice.
don't want women that have slept with multiple people.
We're talking about 5 to 7 partners. Why don't men want hoes?
Do you want a woman with a lot of bodies?
5 to 7, I don't consider. I think that's totally like.
Well, I think most men would, pray for that nowadays. But
Dude, what do you mean most men would pray for it?
Because all women
the
are
number I looked
sluts.
up is 10% of women who. There's only 10% of women in the United States have more than 15 partners. The average number is 4.2.
Did that study was for women? It included older women too, though, didn't
25 to 44.
it? Yeah.
Wait, wouldn't older women have more partners because they've been alive longer? Or is she just saying the younger generation are so slutty that...
That's the. That.
I don't believe that number.
I just think it would probably be more accurate if you kept women under like 35, but
So what makes a hoe?
I don't-
What does a hoe mean?
I mean, it depends on who you ask.
I'm asking you, clearly.
What do I think?
That's who he's
I mean, from a
asking.
historical perspective, really a virgin. Like, I think you should be a virgin on your wedding day.
Jesus
Okay.
That's
Christ.
yeah.
Well, what's that have to do with men being attracted? You said men don't want to date hoes. I just want to unpack that. Men don't want to date hoes. I don't know what that means, if I can be totally honest with you.
Men would prefer a woman with less sexual experience than more.
Oh, less? Well, so I gotta disagree with you. I just don't think that's true. I don't think men care. I don't think men care how many sexual partners their women have had, unless it's like 100. But that's true of men. Men who have had 100 sexual partners are also pretty.
Do you think women care about Drake's body count?
It's
Why-
Drake.
Women want to sleep with Drake.
Do you think if a man could sleep with Lana Rhoades, he would care about her body count? Or what, like...
And like other celebrities, do you think they care about their body count?
Are we talking
But
about
men
Drake? Or are we
men
talking about
lining
general?
up
I mean, Drake's a celebrity.
men aren't lining up to date like Lana Rhoades, Mia Khalifa, and like actually
You
married
fucking
up.
crazy, dude? Are you crazy? Do you really believe that?
If I had to guess, I bet that Lana Rhoades and Mia Khalifa, I bet these guys have gotten like fucking thousands of marriage proposals of guys that would want to like fucking marry these porn stars. Bro, I know OnlyFans girls that have gotten marriage fucking proposals, okay, from random fucking dudes. Like, come on. Really?
Men would. There is quite literally.
There are
people
men that would literally give their
Come
life
on,
to do that.
you can't believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think the men
would
with the
die for
most
that.
options, that's what they want to do?
Men with the most options want to do what?
We're not talking about men with the most options. Are you talking about women with the most options when it comes to Drake?
Oh.
Or are you just talking about average fans?
I'm talking about Drake does not have a problem getting laid because of his body count. I would imagine that. porn
Wait, so are we just talking about getting laid, or are we talking about relationships now? No, remember when I said they always conflate these things? Because she made it sound like, oh, well, people don't want to date Lana Rhoades, and now she's like, well, Drake doesn't have a problem getting laid. Do you think the most famous porn stars in the world have problems getting laid, even by high-value men?
I would imagine that porn stars would have a hard time getting into marriage with a man that they respect and admire.
Wait, why did you use getting laid for Drake and then getting married for porn stars? Also, yeah, hold on, wait. Somebody in chat said this. Is this true? Somebody in chat said Drake was literally in Mia's DMs. Is that true?
Aren't you the one that's always been like, let's not talk about fringe cases? What's the point of bringing up Drake? That's like the most extreme example, wouldn't you agree?
I mean, we could even go into like normal dating. I think
That's
it's silly.
more important. Yeah, let's do that.
I just think it's silly to argue that men want to date women with high body count.
No, they don't want to. I'm saying I don't think it matters, especially the number you gave me,
They're
5 to
one way or
7.
the other, yeah.
Yeah, 5 to 7. I don't think men care about that in general. I just don't.
I mean, you could argue 15 to 20, 25. Like, I don't know exactly what point, but usually there is a point for most men.
Sure.
it's
And
like-
women. I mean, and women. I don't think women want to date someone who's like
I just don't think, I don't think it's equal.
not equal. Because Drake.
No, not because of Drake.
Because we should remove like celebrity and outside kind of influences from this, because that obviously creates unusual, fringe cases, which we don't like. We don't like to talk about those.
So then what about the abortion one
I was
earlier?
just parodying you.
I thought you liked, I thought.
That was a matter of law, not preferences, though.
All right, one last thing. I see that we're getting exhausted here. It's fine. Drake saying, I want a girl with a future and a past. That's a lyric of his. He wants an experienced girl. Even Drake's talking about it in his damn lyrics. Drake doesn't want a virgin.
You just said no celebrities. That's crazy how you just threw that out the window now.
Okay, you don't want to talk about it. Drake wants a girl with a future and a past.
Oh, stop. His simp pandering music to women. He makes money off of that. Women are like, come on.
Who does Drake date, though? I actually don't know, because I'm not like a celebrity follower guy. Does Drake date like virgin women that don't have any past or experience in the industry? Are those the type of people? Not counting the girl that he tried to groom in fucking Australia. But like in general, like does Drake date like?
All right, let's talk about one last
Seem
thing.
like a creepy, probably. Yeah.
And I do thank you for being here. You know, it's combative, but I think it's a good conversation. I want to
He
ask you
literally
about
has
one
a
last
child
thing.
with a porn star. Okay.
This comment I thought was interesting, and tell me what you think about it.
This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they often, but that's what they do is they embellish, and I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible, it was, right? But they want to make it like more horrible so
no.
that they can control people.
So, in what way was slavery made to seem more horrible than it was?
Uh-oh.
We were talking about, I don't really want to go into this too much because we're kind of past this, but I was quoting a Thomas Sowell book. So.
Okay.
Who's that?
Yeah, so Thomas Sowell is an author who talks about the history of slavery.
Black economists, conservatives love him.
But do you agree with that premise that slavery was embellished, or no?
I think that there are parts that are under embellished and there are parts that are over embellished. I think it just depends what we're
That's
talking
so
about.
interesting. I've got to know what was over embellished about slavery. Just like one example, I'm dying to know.
Yeah, I just rather. I mean, I was talking about a book that I read, and I think to understand the context, you'd have to read the book.
You just said some parts were
You gotta
embellished,
read
some
the
parts
whole
were under.
book to understand that statement.
I just
Are you
again,
retracting that?
I'd really just rather not.
Okay. Dude, no, but slavery being embellished, that's so interesting. I don't know how you embellish it.
There are certain facts that we're not allowed to talk about.
Like what? I would love to. We're doing the taboo. We're mixing it up.
Oh, them boys are coming out. Be careful.
Red pill, baby. Let's see the world as it is.
Taboo topics.
I genuinely want to know how it was embellished.
Yeah.
What can't we talk about? Come on.
I mean, I could show you the video I was quoting, but it's just I'd rather not get into
The funny thing is that like if Pearl wasn't an idiot, there's probably an argument that she could make here, like that red pillars and even some people in the center, even I would be like, okay, sure. The idea that the constant harkening back to slavery, California trying to pass fucking reparations, that looking backwards and trying to blame the past for everything that's ever happened, releasing more and more movies, talking about it in school over and over again, that the idea of hyperfixating on slavery as an excuse or a reason why black communities in the United States today are struggling, unfocuses us or causes our attention to stray from the actual problems plaguing these communities and inhibits our ability. Like you could give an answer like this and it'd be totally fucking fine. And you could probably even make Ethan agree with you to some extent. Like,
sounds like a blue pill attitude to me.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping this was like a good faith interview.
Wait, what's bad faith? I'm literally.
I told you she'd do it at the end. I told you at the end she would do it. She'd say she got ambushed.
Showing you clips of you saying stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. What about this interview has been bad faith?
I just think you're kind of trying to push an agenda, and you're not. Yeah, I just think you're trying to.
That's a clip of you saying that. You can disavow it. That'd be super easy to say I was wrong.
From a full interview where I'm quoting somebody. Like if you watch the full interview, I am quoting somebody, and now you're trying to pin me down about a topic that I don't dive into.
Hold on.
So it's like, that's not the point of my channel.
Okay,
the point of my channel isn't.
I know, but you said it. How is that bad faith? Hold on, let me see.
Because I was talking about how the founder of Thomas Sowell talks about how the guy that made Roots talked about how it was a myth for his people to live by. Okay. That's what the guy who made Roots said, Alex Haley.
Okay.
So, and I can't even talk about that on a podcast without being canceled by the internet.
Yeah, but mythology, you know, myth doesn't necessarily mean it's a lie, right? Just because mythology is like a culture,
right, but I'm
history.
saying that doesn't mean the way it's depicted in the movie was how it actually happened. And that's what he was talking about on the book. But again, I was quoting a book, and you're trying to like pin me down on quoting a book.
Let me watch this again and see if I'm doing that.
Stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said I wanted a myth for my people to live by. Yeah. So they often, but that's what they do. Is they embellish.
So then you say, but here's what they do.
And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible.
I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible.
Right, but they want to make it like more horrible.
But they want to make it more horrible.
That they can control people.
So that they can control people.
Right, but
Nick Fuentes agrees.
But wait, oh my gosh. 5 minutes before I say Sowell talks about this in his book. So I'm communicating in the interview that I'm quoting an author.
You're not being honest. Like, you say they do this to.
And it also, like, it doesn't sound like you're presenting his arguments. It sounds like you're presenting his arguments as ones that you've agreed with. Like you've synthesized his arguments into your own. That's what it sounds like. That's kind of what it sounds like. If I'm being really, really, really good faith, maybe that's not what she's doing. Or if I'm being ultra charitable, maybe that's not what she's doing.
Okay, so you disavow. Just disavow it then. That's easy. Just say, I don't think slavery was embellished. I mean, that's super easy. That's like a layup. Do you agree? You know what I mean? It's like, just say you don't think slavery was embellished.
I think there are certain facts that you're not allowed to talk about. I don't really want to talk about it today.
But that Roots is a myth?
Again, there are certain facts you're not allowed to talk about, and I don't really feel like getting into it today.
Thomas Sowell compared Barack Obama to Adolf Hitler. Do you like that analogy? That's the author you're quoting. Do you think that's a fair analogy?
That's a quite one-sided way to write his whole work, but he wrote like 100 books.
Oh, I'm just asking you, do you agree with that statement? Barack Obama is comparable to Adolf Hitler.
No.
Okay. See, it's not hard. It's not hard. That's awesome. That's easy to do. You also said George Washington was viewed from his slaves like a father. I guess that's part of what what the myth, I guess, is that not all slave owners were evil. Some were father figures like George Washington. Did you say that?
I don't remember. I think like if someone's a great and powerful man in history to the point like they're talking about him hundreds of years later, he didn't have any kids. But
did he own slaves?
What?
Did he own slaves? George Washington.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, no romance with him. I'm just saying.
No, it's actually interesting. He had a different, like he inherited his slaves, and it wasn't as simple as he could have just like let them go because the debt that's incurred on them, like you can't just release them. And so his slaves actually like he had a really good relationship with them, and they considered him like a dad.
What's your source for that?
That was from a Thomas Sowell book.
Thomas Sowell, so he's your guy. Thomas Sowell's the man. Thomas Sowell wrote a column about supporting segregation in public schools. George Washington
You want me to apologize? Like, you want me to talk about every single one of this man's opinions?
No, I just want I just want to know what you think.
Like, come on, don't be a pussy. Don't run away from it, because you know when she's on her shows later, she's going to be repeating all this shit verbatim, but she's not willing to make it in front of Ethan. Like, bro, come on, just do it, okay?
I think racism was embellished. I mean, it's so easy. I mean, just say no.
I think, okay, there was a time where I started to read accounts from actual slaves. So these were like, in like and you know, I can't really talk about this. Like, even if I talk about this now, they're going to clip it. They're going to say things I didn't say. But
like, why are you so scared about getting clipped? I thought we were red pill here. I thought we like didn't give a f. We've left the Matrix. Like
I used to read actual slave accounts, and I was surprised how many didn't say bad things about their owners after they were free.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to say, like, slavery was a horrible institution, but I can't talk about that fact without getting canceled. I can't say, hey, these slaves had a good relationship with their owners.
Because it's not true. Because it's just not true. It's not true. George Washington was not a father figure to his slaves.
Well, if you look up, like, I think it was Booker T.
47 of George Washington's slaves tried to escape. Would you try to escape if you loved your master?
maybe that one was wrong. I don't know. This was like a little bit on a podcast months ago. I don't really remember. But and I said I wasn't sure if it was Washington either in that interview at some point. But
George Washington was...
I'm bringing up is I'm not even allowed to have this conversation without...
What do you mean not allowed?
You're allowed to. He's offering you to have it right now.
I got months of backlash for this. I'm now like, you guys are kind of trying to do a gotcha moment.
No. I didn't know about the backlash.
You know, I'm not really...
I didn't know about the backlash. I promise I didn't.
I had months.
I just want to know what you think.
Like, I had months of people... Like, you know, it's like, if I have this conversation, I had months of people calling my employees slaves. Like, that's what they call... Like,
that's horrible. Yeah, I disagree. That sucks.
Horrible.
But at the same time...
Well, but weren't they calling your employees slaves because you were offering, like... What were they, like 30, 70... contracts? Wasn't that why people were calling them slaves?
And like even the guy, and you know this because you watched the video of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
The reaction you just you're acting oblivious, so I didn't know that, but you do know that because the reaction you just watched was my former co-host who insinuated that my employees were being colonized.
Oh, I didn't know that. I promise. I just wanted to get your take. Well, people say I just wanted to know what your thoughts are on this. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not, like, my channel isn't about slavery. That's like a fringe comment.
I want to know about you.
But I'm asking, like, why are you bringing this up when that's not really what my channel's about?
I can only ask you things about... This is interesting. I want to ask you about it. Why do I can only ask you things in a confined space?
You can, but you understand how that looks to me. It's like...
Okay, hold on. Shouldn't I be getting, like, more jewels? Can't I make, like, 3 chip diamonds into, like, a better diamond or something? Or do I need to, like, unlock this later or something? The fuck?
You're just trying to pick out every single...
Listen, Pearl, to be totally fair, you could just say, I don't think slavery was embellished.
Like, you were just
that's
talking
super
about...
easy. That's a layup for most people.
Yeah, true.
I was quoting a book. That's the crazy part. I was quoting a book.
So do you agree with this statement, though?
Do I think overall it was embellished? Some parts, sure.
There it is. Which parts?
Some parts.
No, please tell me which parts. Tell me.
I think that I think that certain slaves had good relationships with their owners. Not all, maybe not most, but I think some did.
And that just
and there are accounts of them saying this.
So some slaves had good relationships with their masters. Therefore, slavery was embellished.
You know how this is going to go for me. Like, I don't know why you're doing this. You know I can't have this conversation without them painting it a certain way.
Well, just own it then. Just do it. Just say what you want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just be red-pilled about it. Who is they? I don't know who.
It's a personal topic for me because I've taken very hard stances on very controversial things that have gotten me in trouble, which is fine, whatever. But then these guys will come up here and say, like, oh, we're constantly canceled. Like, oh, we take the hard positions, and it's like, no, you don't, bro. You're circle jerking with a bunch of friends constantly. You get your YouTube AdSense. Like, you're not getting banned from any fucking platforms. Like, you catch some flack in the media sometimes, but like at the end of the day, it's not hurting your bottom line. Come on.
Who's they? Just your haters or someone?
The left.
The left.
Do they have parentheses around the they?
Like, I mean, you even came in, like, you researched, like, my family. Like, that's weird.
How's that weird? It's all public. It's stuff you talked about. You literally talked about it. It's called preparation. Which you clearly done. No.
I didn't.
Like, you literally do no preparation.
I didn't talk about if my mom was the president of, like, the
Where do we find that?
Find that on their website.
I looked it up. I said, I Googled who are your parents, and it popped right up.
Is that
they're famous? They're relatively famous.
I didn't send a private investigator.
On YouTube. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't send a private investigator to your house. I just did a little bit of research.
Public information.
Like, let me bring facts about your parents.
You knew you were coming to talk to me for weeks.
I've done that.
I know, but I thought we were talking about the issues, not like my family.
We didn't talk about your family.
Yeah, I mean, you were even implying earlier.
First of all, it is relevant that your mom is the president when you're talking about.
You didn't know any of the backlash I got.
Well, who cares? You said it. Just own it.
I'm asking. You didn't know any of the backlash I got.
I didn't know about it.
No idea, even though you got that from a video that my ex-co-host made about me.
Right.
See, like, this is dishonest. It's not honest.
But what's the problem? You're getting backlash for something that you think.
But I'm saying, so you're like,
you're not. You brought your parents up when you were talking about hiring people, didn't you?
I said, I think it's a bit.
You talk about your parents all the time. You talk about how your dad is rich. You did a tour of his whole barn with the bowling alley and fucking recreational stuff in it. Like, why am I not allowed to talk
about it? I'm saying, like, you even just said that you knew. Like, because you got that clip from an like.
Okay, who cares?
We're not here to protect your reputation.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? Let's say I didn't know about it to the extent that it was such an issue for you, but let's just say it was. I mean,
I do have to go though because I have a show coming up. So.
Okay, let's just end on this note. Slavery was embellished because some masters had good relationships with their masters. Some slaves had good relationships with their masters.
All right.
But don't you see how easy it is to just say, I don't think it was embellished? I don't think it's a secret.
You guys act just like I've been preached.
Like Pearl. Pearl, I don't think it's a secret
Fake news,
that some masters had good
TMZ
relationships with their slaves. I don't think that's a secret.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on, but I'm going to go. Thank you.
George,
Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate you. Okay. Have a good night.
She hung up.
Whoa.
I just don't understand why you can't.
Oh my God.
She was panicking at the end there. Holy shit.
Okay. First of all, I genuinely did not know that it was such a sore point for her. I mean, it is a crazy thing to say.
I mean, she gets backlash all the time for all the things that she says. Why is that one so off limits?
That I don't know.
I mean, I can guess because it's fucking insane. But
like I mean, yeah, that's it. But
I'm gonna let the children out of.
You know, I tried to nail her down on things as I do here, but ultimately,
chat, you're free.
Dude, I've been wondering what the fuck that noise is the whole time. I could not pay attention because I just heard crunching.
There's a lot.
Oh, what the fuck?
When the fuck did you get here?
Whoa, have you been here the whole time? Who let this idiot in?
Who let him in? How'd you get past security?
Who gave him food? That's our snacks, bro. That's budgeted in. Take those away from him, Ian. Why are you letting him eat your snacks?
I told him to stop, and he said Ethan doesn't need these.
Stop what?
I've lost a lot of weight, fucking piece of shit.
Stop.
Let's see who's fatter now. All right, why are you here? Did you just get back from like Siberia or wherever the fuck you cheaply record shit because you're broke?
What'd you say? I can't hear you back here, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Romania's fault. This is just a result of becoming monumentally successful and telling the truth. And whenever you're the kind of person who tells the truth, the bastions, the gates, which are held, which try and prevent the truth from being exposed to the general public, there's going to be some degree of pushback, and unfortunately that pushback is powerful. It's a very powerful but vocal.
Oh, you know what I'm curious about? I'm totally making all of this up, by the way. Don't know, but just curious is I wonder if the reason why they're doing interviews and they're having all these conversations, I don't know if I have any Romanian legal experts in here, but I wonder if once the case starts, like once the charges are officially given, I wonder if the judge is going to issue a gag order and then they're not allowed to publicly discuss the matters of an ongoing trial. I wonder if that's why they're trying to like get all the information out right now and they're trying to build their case in the public eye right now. A total guess. I don't know if gag orders are even a thing in Romania, if you could do that, but I wonder if, yeah.
Minority which dislike.
Oh, sorry, hold on. Let me...
People are understanding they're tired of being...
Hello?
Hi, what's up, buddy?
Hey, hello. Hello, DGG. Hello, Steven. I wanted to say hi, you know.
Well, hi, what's up?
And today has been a very bad day. So I want to talk about something serious, but yeah, but today has been pretty rough. So probably no serious topics about serious things.
Well, what happened? Why was today a rough day? Yeah, what happened?
Well, a friend of mine was killed, and also, other than that, he was a volunteer and was killed in Bakhmut today, near Bakhmut. Shrapnel basically like pierced his chest, so he died like instantly. And also, Dylan Burns got shelled today. So also was not fun, but at least he's fine, you know. Yeah, I had like this kind of weird feeling when he said he's going to Kherson, which I'm not like superstitious much, but I just just had this kind of like a weird feeling, you know, that I knew that Russians were shelling people who were evacuating because of the dam explosion.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he pretty much ended up being with evacuation team who evacuated animals, mostly like, you know, cats, dogs, stuff like that. So yeah, so I kind of had this like a bad feeling. I don't know why. And today I also find out that a friend of mine, you know, was killed. And then I got a message from Dylan that we have been shelled and shit like that, and he said he was okay, but another guy who's a volunteer from Britain, John Johnson, I think.
A volunteer from what?
He got injured. From Britain, from
Britain.
UK,
Okay, gotcha.
who came to Kherson to help. He got injured. He was with Dylan, and yeah, he will tell the story, I presume. He posted about it like on Twitter. I talked with him on the phone as well, but the connection with in Kherson is pretty awful. So yeah, so not the best of the best. Let's put it like that.
Where are you right now?
In Kharkiv. I actually wanted to go to Kherson, but ended up not going because I went on a trip to deliver aid, and yeah, so I decided to stay, which probably is not a bad thing considering you know stuff. Yeah, that's the stuff. Getting aid pretty much, and yeah, anyhow, shameless self-promotion. If you guys wanted to help me with the headphones, protective gear, I would appreciate it very much. I'm doing right now the donations, not donations, but you know, getting equipment for the guys near Bakhmut mostly. So if anyone wants to help out, it's like a pinned Twitter on my Ukrainian Anna Twitter, whatever thingy. Would appreciate that because you know the finances are low. I only have like $1,000 left, which is not bad, but you know I have been using stuff you guys donated for like months, so we are like literal legends in that regard. So I bought like a bunch of cars and quad bikes and medical supplies and power banks and headphones and drones and all sorts of expensive ass shit. And I didn't ask like for much because I had enough, you know, to buy all I needed. But now is if anyone you know wants to help out, then that would be the time. That's selfish for fuck's sake. I'm tired. That's a bit selfish, I guess you could say, but you know, I'm not asking for myself, so I feel okay with that. And yeah, just wanted to pretty much say hi, and also say I know you kind of hate the red pill stuff at this point. But it's so fucking entertaining. Like I watch your things having to do with red pill all the time. I don't know, just to me it's like the most entertaining shit ever.
Yeah,
I heard you had like this beef with this dude. I forgot his name, but he's like his frame is held by liposuctions.
Yeah, the MLD guy, yeah.
Yeah, that one. Also, it's so fun. Like, I saw a video of him, like, you know, insulting you, obviously, but also, like, calling Melina, your wife, like a whore 10,000 times. And I just must say that these guys, they are kind of fans of, like, traditional values, supposedly, right? So, like, countries with more, like, traditional stuff. So, in Ukraine, if you call another man's wife that, you will get, you know, you're punched in the face. That's
I mean, it's generally true in the United States as well. I don't think people would say that, but there's a reason why like a lot of these people like only talk shit online. Like whenever that guy was on a panel with me or Melina, he was like very conciliatory, very nice the entire time. He's really goofy. But
yeah, that was just so fucking weird. Like I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I understand that they like pretty much are not actually like traditional. They just, you know, LARP, I guess. But yeah, but it's very strange to see that. Also, there was this thing, I saw you talking about it and I laughed about it, that some guy, I forgot what his name is, but he was like, live with your bros. Like, living with women is like not manly, you know?
Oh, yeah, the fresh and fit guys, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you think they will embrace like the next like stage of Red Pill would be embracing the homo? This is my theory.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've said, yeah, that I think in 5 to 10 years it's going to be like, we can just fuck other guys, we don't have to worry about child support, nobody's getting pregnant, like, yeah, I feel like that's like the next level, they'll get there eventually, yeah.
You know, like, I'm Greek, like, actually, right? Like, ethnically, I think I told you, and it reminds me of this, like, they sometimes like talk about like ancient times when there was like this, you know, established gender roles, and you know, women were women, men were men, and like masculine and shit like that. So it makes me think they should embrace this ancient Greek thing, you know.
Where the athletes fuck the little boys or whatever?
Yeah. No, just in general, fucking your bros was a cool thing in ancient Greece.
Gotcha.
So it was like pretty much encouraged, because women, they kind of make you like weak and feminine, right? So you should like stick with the bros, literally stick with the bros.
True.
So so basically like the whole idea was like that there was like several I guess you could say like ancient like philosophers and political people who said that it's good, actually good. It makes you more manly, you know.
Interesting.
So. Yeah, so there was like this concept basically that you cannot actually like, not everyone adhered to it by the way, but did, that you cannot like actually love a woman because she's not equal to you. So can you really like love an equal and someone who's not equal to you? Whereas like loving your friend, male friend, is okay because he knows like politics, he participates in society, knows philosophy, and yeah, so it was kind of interesting that they said that it's no point in how can you like love a woman that she's like only thing she's like can do is like care about children and the house, which is by the way what these guys supposedly want, right? Like red pill people. And it kind of like, you know, overlaps with that. But it's kind of funny that they said like women are not equal, but they were not allowed to, you know.
Yeah.
So instead of fixing that, so they were like, what can you even talk about with this like retarded woman? And you're like, well, she's not allowed to like participate in politics, to vote, she's not like encouraged to study philosophy and shit like that. So yeah, maybe like figure that out. But you know, they instead decided to fuck their bros, which, you know, red pillars can do, I think.
I'm sure they'll get there eventually, yeah.
Let's hope for them.
Are you planning on heading back to like Kherson or anything? Are you going back there soon, or are you just staying in? I can't pronounce any of your places. I brutalize it, but.
Oh, you mean like Kherson, where the dam is? I never went there. I'm in Kharkiv.
Yeah, I mean, are you ever planning on going out there, or do you generally stay in Kharkiv now, or?
I thought I would, yeah, maybe in like next week, maybe if I'm able to, if I can. If not, then I will stay here because I mostly deliver stuff to the east right now. So it makes a bit easier to do that from, you know, Kharkiv, because it's, you know, in the east and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, actually, the other thing about this whole like ancient Greece thing, they also like were very much into like athleticism, athletic, you know, bodies and beauty. It was very like a high value thing in society. So they also sometimes would be like, oh, you know, you can. Basically like gym culture in a way, you know.
Sure.
So basically you can do, like run marathons and throw spears and be like athletic with your bro, and women are not really supposed to be like athletic and shit. So, you know, you can't share your gains
Wow.
with a lady. Yeah, where I think the red pill should really fucking embrace that shit. It like fits their whole world, do you think?
Yeah, maybe in a few years, maybe they'll get there. We'll see, I guess.
I think it'd be good for them, you know? Yeah. It's better for them to not be around women that they hate so much, yeah.
True.
Doesn't make sense, yeah, I think. With bros and the gym and everything would be way nicer, I think.
True.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, I'm watching this, apparently there's some big Andrew Tate, like, emergency meeting on where they're talking about their charges, so.
Oh, that's cool. Then I will, you know, leave you, I guess, to it. I wanted to ask about Trump as well, but, you know, we can do it next time.
Trump is fucked, but yeah, we can talk about him next time, yeah. Yeah, but he's super fucked.
Yeah, I just wanted to know how fucked, exactly.
He's very fucked. He's very, very, very fucked.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's cool. That's nice. That's what I want to hear, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, anyhow. Yeah, bye-bye, and maybe next time we can chat a bit more.
Be careful.
Yeah, bye.
Okay. So you can link her Twitter and chat where she has her PayPal address if you guys want. Rescue operation shelled by Russian military. British volunteer and friend John Jones was injured in the shelling targeting the evacuation boat. He's currently in the hospital getting treatment for his injuries and stable condition. Rest are okay. At the time of the shelling, there were no military personnel present. This is not the first time the Russian military has done this. Most likely not be the last. Here's a picture I took of John shortly before the shelling. He's a good-hearted, driftle man who loves to make those around him laugh. Damn. Jeez.